What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're back with another installation of the double shot, and this time we're coming at you pack runner style. Whiskey Run, it's the playoffs, baby.
That's right. When we were talking about what did we want to follow up Element 2026 with, that's right, playoff game, my friend, and a league and a team that we have seen before. As a matter of fact, in the Element playoffs and through that whole qualifier, this is a game we wanted to see coming out of what is a very grueling weekend, all weekend long. How was Blackjack going to do coming out of that? Because we've got a great matchup tonight. Blackjack versus PACKRUNNERS team, and both of them have sort of changed names, changed squads, but this is a team for sure that we have cast a number of times, and now how are they going to handle playoffs?
Okay, taking a look at it, OPL saying, you know what, they got a pretty strong win percentage. And if you were watching anything this weekend, you know they at least take it all 15 sometimes to get that one done. Best layer, worst border, and it's a bunch of familiar names going down the team. Franklin, Boots, Letters, J-Guns, and Mingo, I believe, filling out the roster today. Of course, Mad Dog, the coach. We got to meet him, actually. That was a pretty cool. We did a LAN event with him. So a little familiarity here on the side of Team Blackjack.
That's right, and over the course of the entire Element qualifiers this weekend, Blackjack, this team lost only one game, and it was very early on. It was in the second round where they lost to Backroom on this channel. That was the place that they lost their only game. After that, they had a legendary lower bracket run, conquering every single team that they up against, including Dexter's Laboratory, that was Merc's team, and the Turtle Tactics team. Guys that went very far in the bracket. Blackjack is the one that made it to the end. These guys are absolutely the team to be watching for.
On the other side of it, PACKRUNNERS, familiar name, familiar tournament, familiar team. Nug, Soggy, Pitbull, Hyde. I'm not even going to attempt it, actually, to be honest with you. A couple of very familiar names. They did do a little bit of a roster change, different than what they were putting out on Twitter just recently. One dropped, one pickup. So, you know, still dealing with kind of new team chemistry on this one as you introduce the new player into the fold.
All right, and you know what? Crazy changes, roster changes absolutely always happen as a part of the T4, T3, and now T2 Siege. But let's get down to it. When you're talking about a best of three between these two teams, all that matters is how you finish today in the server over the next 2 to 3 hours, my friend. This is it, and we're starting off on Lair. You mentioned it for the Blackjack team. This was their best statistical map, but PACKRUNNERS picked it, so we'll see how this one goes. Favors a little bit of chaos, and then into the structure of Consulate and Club.
Ooh, can't wait for that. But first, got to get through the first one. It's PACKRUNNERS playoffs, and it's Lair.
All right, my friend, as we get into Lair, what are we looking for? Lots of great stuff. This is one of those maps that, we said it a million times over. Total chaos, just absolutely wild. This is a map that can go either way. When on paper, for sure, Blackjack is that team with Franklin, IGLing. They've got some legendary players, and I know there was a lot of chatter about it on Twitter earlier today. Man, Mingo making it into T2 on roller. They've been talking about him being the next up for a long time, and this squad honestly feels like it's got some of the vibes that we saw from that M80X legendary run in Challenger Series a year ago.
Oh, man, yeah, that was a time to be alive. Here we're getting into it. First one, after, of course, some of that success they had yesterday, they're going to come back and try Lair, and they're going to get rid of some breach denial, which kind of seems to be the name of the game, kind of standard now for those in the know. Cade and Bandit off the board first, and then on the opposite side of it, bringing out the Snake and the Deimos, wholly intending to keep some of those roamers on the board, which has been kind of a big part, right? When you're attacking that 2F, you're sending in your Buck or somebody down below to force your Monty or your Mira out of position. Some of those strong critical push points. So yeah, I'm going to try to take some of those off the board and keep them alive a little bit longer. And as we say it, Franklin on to the buck. So I think we might be seeing some of that quite early on.
Yeah, Franklin, the IGL here is just very, very good at this style of gameplay. I mean, this is one of the maps it feels like his extra IGLing skills can bring something special to this squad. So the change out, right? What do they want to do now? The thing is, PACKRUNNERS on the defense, they banned out the Solid Snake, they banned out the Deimos, and they left. You can't ban both of the F2s this time around. They left the Twitch on the board, and that, honestly, to me, is one of the highlight plays we are going to have to be watching for. Mingo's so good with that gun, especially now that the vertical grip is back in action.
I love this right here, right? The mirror on display feels like a good position, especially when they're trying to make that split push coming in. But did you see it, Run? Footholds on the main breach. We're going back into a very aggressive defense, and that's one of the things that BLACKJACK is known for, right? J Guns just spawn peeking everything. Onto the attack side, J Guns with the entry almost every single time. And you're right, Mingo with the F2. We talked about it as being one of the combos that you want to not have against you when you're going against this BLACKJACK team, because he's an absolute demon with it. Not just the gun, but it'll get all of your utility before you even know what's going on. So how are they going to adapt? Breach denial doubled up with Tachanka and the Yokais. Interesting that we're not going for the smoke here, but obviously, we've seen a ton of those Yokai plant denials just recently in the element quals.
Not only that, we saw Franklin deny the plant himself using the Echo, holding onto the top floor layer here, hiding that Yokai from behind the chassis. And you know what? If PACKRUNNERS steals his strat coming into this, I'm just going to struggle with it, man. I'm going to have a hard time not laughing. Great play. You know what? And it shows me a team is adapting around what they're seeing live in the meta, my friend.
Franklin does go down as the Buck's taken care of. Oh, finds himself a sneaky Yokai. Yet again, there it is. Mingo on the Twitch drone with his couple of sniper shots. Now, they've got the wall open, but not enough to get through, right? And that's all the Selma charge has done. So, unfortunately, walking in through the backside of site there, not going to be an option. We're either going to have to see him redirect towards the backside of site, or, unfortunately, you're pushing in through a doorway.
There it is, the Dokkaebi call coming out. One of the last times we're going to get to see the old school Dokkaebi before this new season comes out, completely changing the way that op is going to work. But with 51 seconds left, they're trying to find the rest of the roamers. Where are they playing at? For sure they know from behind the shield, but do they have intel on the others? They're watching for the flank. There's one, and Nugs just wins a double.
Yeah, the Vector in hand's going to claim to Mingo to answer back as the headshot rings out, and now has to put pressure onto the shield, but they don't necessarily have to swing. 30 seconds left. The Yokai goes out as they're trying to combo move this one, and pinged out through the Grimbees. Sure that he's got a couple of other options. Let's see how he brings this one back. Those Yokais just being absolutely devastating and disorienting currently. 15 as it counts down. He's going to do a confidence re-peek here towards the shield. He
got one
down. Yeah, needs two more. Looking towards the corner. Can't quite see him just yet. 5 seconds. No chance as the prone position. Nugs is going to come up with a 3K.
Yeah, no opportunity to pick up the audio cue there while being downed and disoriented from the Yokai. That was a bit of a problem there. So Echo, right? Combination of Echo and Nugs, obviously on the mirror, picking up a 3K that round was what won it there for the PACKRUNNERS defense. And if you talk about site stats, I mean, for sure 2F on layer is for sure one that we expect to be defensive sided. So now we start to see a little bit of opportunity and action come in here. When we saw this BLACKJACK team back in the Element 6 or Element 2026 qualifiers, it was on a layer that they went all 15 rounds versus Backrooms. That was the game that they lost their upper bracket, but it was so freaking close. 8-7 they ended up losing that match, and they had won 4 in a row as well at the very end of it to try and save that run, but Backroom was just a little bit better. They are starting on attack, same as they did previously, so when you talk about it, it was a 4-2 half on defense for this team. So they only picked up 2 attacking rounds. Honestly, if they can pull off 3, I'm going to say it's a huge victory for this team.
And kind of a pattern, right? Isn't that something that we were talking about before the show got started? Is Blackjack going to be on attack for all of their attacks coming through this one? So really confident on that side of the board. And, you know, with good reason. We can see him get aggressive both ways. On the defense, however, going to lean into some of that area denial. Goyo's back on the board and trying to bring out the can't hit what you can't see strat as Fenrir is around, right? Couple that with the Grismont is going to make it a very distracting couple of doorways to get in and try to put some pressure on some of that vert.
The other thing that came out of that game, we said, was PACKRUNNERS Blackjack absolutely owned the basement site here. They won every single time basement was played. It was honestly unbelievable, both attack and defense. This was their site. They had this absolutely on lockdown. It was the 2 rounds that they won on attack previously. So again, is PACKRUNNERS paying attention, adapting around how this team was playing? This is a huge opportunity for them, but man, the stats. I love the stats part of Siege, and that was a impressive one for this team.
Absolutely, just a ton of dedication and investment into the upper floors here. As Scopo still sits on the top as well, and with that hatch could be a potential problem. Mingo, though, gonna find himself a double with the F2 as. Man, now they claimed that for that top space. You start to see Scopos go down to put some pressure onto that first floor and really try to hold it out. But, man, it's almost an all-for-naught situation here because if Scopos goes down, then it is a 3-2-1 bingo call into sight, and that's exactly what happens. A tough one. They finally answer back as Lou gets taken down, but, my friend, damage done.
Yeah, 100%. You lose the 2 guys early that had kills on the PACKRUNNERS side. Both Nugs and High were the only 2 that had gone down. You claimed all the vertical here. Now, man, Oya, I mean, trying to hold on to this space in the basement. You've got now both of them there, but 2 players upstairs. Holy cow, Mingo just runs in and just loses that battle to the sniper shotty. That felt like a little bit of miscommunication there, and we know the mental can be tough for this team, but it is map 1, like round 2. It's not time yet.
Get the call that the Scopos drone is in place, so somebody could be behind it. Gonna see Fenrir taken down as now it's into a 2v1. A push together could see some success in the first round for Blackjack here. Holding on to the long angle, might get rewarded on a quick peek potentially, and that's gonna be the Goyo that's gonna slow that process down. Now he's funneled. Now they know exactly where he's going to be coming from. Sits into the rotate. Starts to make the push up, and that's the plant going down. 14 seconds. He's going to have to stick it here, and he's looking for the answer. He sees him, and that's going to take him on down. The triple kill. 8 seconds left for him now to get the kill. Flash rings out. Doesn't know where he's at. Takes the swing. He's hiding. He's going to win it.
Ghost is just better!
He comes through the vault. The pistol pop. The body drop, claiming the equalizer round.
Oh, man, a little bit of comedy in there at the end. And Boots says, yeah, that was close, G. No kidding. All the way down to the final seconds. I thought they were going to get the plan off. Great vertical coverage there, but wild there. Oh, yeah, I mean, it did a fantastic job trying to defend that single-handedly as the rest of his team fell early. And, man, almost got it. The game of cat and mouse around the lab equipment finally ends with Boots' headshot with the pistol over top of the lab. That was a great ending to this round. If you're just joining us, I mean, welcome into the PACKRUNNERS round of 16 playoffs. Blackjack just dominated the lower bracket in Element all weekend long, but job's not done. They're continuing to scrim, continuing to play, and what a better way to do it here in the playoffs. Yeah, this is the team that just qualified to the Element 2026 season.
Man, mental fortitude on that one. Few seconds left. Just keep pushing, even though it is the world's deadliest game of peekaboo. Ends up pulling off a pistol shot to equalize. You love to see it. And that's half the quota hit now here for the Blackjack team. So what do we do on the defensive side of things? PACKRUNNERS, they're going to try to slow it down just a little bit more, right? Bringing out the Goyo, the Castle Smoke combo. Some real pace setters here, Run. They want to make sure it is going to take more time than that 2 seconds left you had to get the kill. And maybe just a few more seconds would have been the difference maker potentially, right? If they before he got in to start making that push. So we'll see if it pays off. Solus is on the board as well, a little bit of intel, and we're already going to see some contest here up onto the second floor.
I mean, continuing to just own that basement site. PACKRUNNERS said, no, I'm not going to try and go back to that one more time. You're going to play that first floor, and you said it. Vertical control is the key here, and that's where we're going to see BLACKJACK start to spend most of their time. And from the PACKRUNNERS side, too, R6 room is the place where you absolutely have to gain vertical control in order to get a plant on that default wall. There is no way you're going to make that happen without R6 solidly locked down. Unless it's a very cheeky play, and that typically doesn't work in the competitive season. So, Whale holding on to that shield. I mean, he's really locked in at that space. He's going to lose his cover, though, as the Ash charge comes out, and he is about to just get slammed with utility.
Shotgun still in hand, ready for that close quarter. As they start to open up to put some pressure on it. They've got everybody now inside as they make their way up. Jay Gunn's going to find the first. Lou going to answer as well as double headshots ring out. Defense falls into a little bit of a tough spot, and the Shotgun's going to claim one back. Lou goes down. So we're one off from finding the equalizer. Second now as we find ourselves 3-3. A quick swing in. Boots is able to answer onto Pitbull. Now into a 3-2 scenario, and they've claimed themselves a little bit of a man advantage, and it's going to see the defense maybe trying to get back down towards side. Now, Nugs is still up there. He's still playing that verticality here. If he can hold on to it, they can still deny. If he gets taken off the board, this is a 1v3 in Destiny.
Nomad has got to use these air jabs to prevent the flank here, because that's exactly what Nugs is waiting for, trying to catch this team off guard. They're going to spend a ton of time looking downstairs for the two players. They're going to be able to find one, cut off his angle there with the Goyle canister in place, but this is the big question. Nugs still holding Skybridge side. I'm hoping Boots has used that air jab in the right place. That is what is going to save this BLACKJACK team from the flank.
Can't get in through the main breach. Less than 30 on the board before they can get themselves in for an execute, or before the round is absolutely over. Last Goyle charge goes off onto the doorway. Smokes and util out now as they're going to start to make that drop in. Still haven't dealt with Nugs up here, and that could be a huge problem. A big swing, and there he is. He gets taken down. F2 from Mingo's able to find it, and not even inside, but 8 seconds. He's able to hold him off. The plant's going down. They need to take the shot now, and Mingo yet again going to come up with the F2 to say F you and claim the round for his team.
So good. It's wild how good he is with that gun, and it's not like it's something recent. He has been a legend on the F2 for such a long time. Back to the roller days, back before it lost the grip, even after it lost the vertical, he was still the guy with this, and it has only made him better. BLACKJACK pick up the second, so now they've won the secondary and tertiary bomb sites here on Layer. We said going into their element game that they lost in the upper bracket. They only won 2 attacking rounds, both on the basement, and they've already put the quota in before the first quarter was even over. PACKRUNNERS a bit on the back foot, and the thing about it, in the map ban stage, this was the PACKRUNNER map pick. For sure, I mean, again, if you're studying this team's strats, if you're ready for what they're bringing, we saw it in the Element 2026 games this weekend. It was absolutely possible to gain a lot of intel from it, but the problem is they're just so good at this map, so you really better be good, PACKRUNNERS.
2 on attack feels like a little bit of a slippery slope here if you're a PACKRUNNERS fan. Got to see some adaptation. They take it back up to the top floor, and this time, instead of the yokai drones, they're going to be bringing out the smoke a little bit more in line with the traditional way that you see the top of Layer played. So again, going to be leaning into that time crunch factor, and it almost worked down there on the basement, and it started to almost work on the top. If they could have had a few more seconds, but honestly, of course, Mingo just pushing in with that F2. He's so freaking quick, my friend. So going to be a little bit tougher to get that one done. They're back up to the 2F. Let's see if BLACKJACK's made the adaptations to find the win on this one.
A little bit of a slow start here for the BLACKJACK attack. I mean, you'd 15 seconds in, still hanging out on the outside of the building, working where do they want to try and get some space in. Not going to have to deal with the Echo, obviously. Fantastic ban. I love that strategy. PACKRUNNERS saying they want to have any of this roam clear operators available outside of the Jackal, who is basically non-existent in competitive play, meaning they're going to have a lot more room to move around at these upper floors, maybe do some flank work on down. We saw that from Nugs on that previous round. They are definitely committed to running that the heavy roam game, and in this time we didn't see Blackjack bring any of the flank watch ops, so they're going to have to rely on the intel and the drones there to try and pull it off. The big question though is, can Tachanka stay alive long enough, backed up by the smoke, to really give them all the space they need? And Mingo is for sure going to spend more time looking for some of these things that can cause him problems late in round, like we saw back on round 1.
Did put some damage. They're doing a lot of investment with the drones here to make sure that they can push this Warden. Well, my discs, however, are putting in work, keeping them safe. Special goggles, special plays. Shield is going to be down. Warden might have to start to make a rotate out of theirs. They're kind of coming full force from the operational side. Couple of shots there. Mingo again. I wondered if that was going to be the ban coming in. Instead, they opted for the Dokkaebi, that DMR and the intel, which of course has been playing a kind of a pivotal factor here. Lou goes down. He's going to be taken off the board. Man advantage into the hands of PACKRUNNERS as they're looking to solidify 2F once again. Warden man, in a little bit of danger now. Franklin gets taken off the board, so we're doubling up now. 5 versus 2, less than 60 to get this one done.
2v5 scenario, a best opportunity we've seen for PACKRUNNERS. Again, they've really got locked down here on this upper floor. It feels like we're seeing Blackjack struggle to really get going at this point. A little bit of flank there. A distraction as Mingo is able to take down Sog. And Oya, hey, how about a double here, making this a little bit closer. Boots is down, though. I do not think he's... Well, I was going to say not recoverable. C4 goes out! Yeah, he's going to get them both.
Yeah, nicely baited, right? Tries to take a shot, and instead is going to set a C4 to send him sky high. That's the equalizer here on 2. If PACKRUNNERS wants to put themselves in a standard way, they're going to be looking to try to close up 2 more. How do they adapt to that one? They did the one they did already. Now they got to get ready for the sites they lost.
Yeah, I mean, right now it feels like very strong play on the second floor. They've sort of got that on lockdown. Again, maybe expecting what Blackjack attack is bringing. And you know what? The roam clear piece of it, I think, is certainly making it a little bit more difficult. PACKRUNNERS like to play a little bit more spread out game, and I think that's more difficult when you don't have to deal with the vertical piece, right? Up on the second floor, they're able to really play spread out on that second floor, but do not need to worry so much about what's going on the first floors and basement of that site. Very easy to defend. The problem is, right now, when you move into the second floor or the first floor in the basement sites, is they've got to worry about a significantly larger space on this map, and that seemed like where Blackjack was being very successful, able to top down clear, take some of the 1v1s on the upper floors, a little bit more spread out, and then put the PACKRUNNERS in a man down situation. That's the piece you got to work around. So boy, it's a tough call. How do you work around this piece now? What do they need to do? Got the Scopos in for a quick flank, a quick rotation here, and then bringing out the Ella for a little bit of that speed. I think both of those are good calls, but I'm a little worried about their ability to work around the Blackjack spread out game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big problem, right? Lair is like a pressure cooker. It's got tight corridors, it's got very layered rooms, and no really truly safe spots for the defenders. So once the attackers starts rolling, it definitely starts to snowball. So how do you defend that? How do you beat it? Delay and misdirection. Delay and misdirection. What did they bring for that? Fenrir, Goyos, and the Grismos to make sure that they really slowed them down. I like the lineup. They've used it. It's had some success. Just got to win the ones now to get past that.
Tied up 2-2, full minute gone at this point, 30% of the round gone, and just a little bit of hurry up and wait scenario for this PACKRUNNERS defense. You take a look at where they've posted up, 3 on the first floor, 1 on the second, and only 1 downstairs in the basement. Small opportunity maybe for a little bit of direct take there from Blackjack, but they've been so good at clearing the space, don't really expect them to try and do this. Look at this, they switch at just the right time. Gonna lose the idle shell immediately, but honestly, Sog got out of there just barely with his life intact.
Solo lurks are risky, man. This map is made to isolate and punish those. Unfortunately for the attack, Jay Guns is going to be held to 1 and 5 currently, as we were talking about him being a main point of that mentality for Blackjack. Keeping it 1-5, that's definitely a way to find some success for a Pack Runners team. Now, all they have to do is rely on the trade game. Just a little bit of time left, just over 60. So play your zones, use the buddy system, and they could find themselves with a scoreline advantage.
Good intel here. I mean, you got the drones in play. Look at this. Going to take a couple shots, and oh no, Nugs to take down Boots. High to tank down Franklin, leaving a Letters now in a 1v5. This one completely fell apart in a way I don't think that they expected. You said it, though. Jay is having a little bit of a difficult round. Absolutely uncharacteristic for him. The Letters knows exactly where he needs to look to take down Nugs. He tried the prone position shot in the end one time before. Doesn't win, and the vertical happens this time as well. Man, he's just locked in right now, taking this on pace for the ace. He needs to catch 3, though.
Does find one. Now he knows that he's locked in onto a third as well, but they're doing damage, just eating away at him here. Just a couple of quick peeks, 14 seconds that he needs to keep pushing this. You can't stall out.
There it is.
Again, now onto the triple kill. Lou on pace for the ace and only 7 seconds to get it done, but the hatch drop will be his undoing. Shot from far away, no chance to respond to it. He put up a hell of an effort trying to bring that one back, but in the end, Pack Runners going to find themselves up by 1.
I think that's the first time that we've seen this Blackjack team lose a basement on our stream in, what was that, 10 rounds of play. They can afford to lose one. You know what? That's an incredible stat line overall. And if you're going to lose the basement one time after already picking up 2 on attack, I still feeling like you're in a very good spot for this Blackjack team. So now you're forcing Pack Runners to go to that first floor. Bunk's briefing side, and Blackjack already won this back on round 3. So they've got to get it done without the Dokkaebi, but honestly, they have put in the work. And if they can avoid some of these, it seems like some of the ones where Pack Runners are catching them off guard, an early man down was the difference maker here. J-Guns obviously needs to stay alive. You got 2 of the hard breaches are the guys who are sitting at the lowest KDs at this point. Hard support, absolutely what you'd expect, but if you need to get some of these walls open to get some sight lines on the Pack Runner D, they got to stay alive long enough to get that utility in.
I think Pack Runners is doing a great job at playing the clock here. They're not getting over aggressive. The zone play has been pretty good for Laren, but that's the thing also, right? This is a defensive sided map. Right, so I mean, we expect to see Pack Runners holding on because Lair favors held angles over aggression. Right, so keep on to that state. Find yourself in that 4-2 split. Feel like a pretty good place going on to the attack side of things, but then again, then you'll have to start dealing with that really aggressive Blackjack defense. And what am I talking by aggression? It is definitely spawn peaks. It's multiple people invested into the roam game. In fact, favoring extensions over just solid lurk plays as well. So I don't know, 3-3 scenario for the Blackjack would feel pretty good going into their defense.
100%. You've one-upped where you were versus the team that took you down in the upper bracket after they just got better and better and better. Now, they absolutely had some close games as a part of that element qualifier that we watched, but look at that, taking some shots by the Twitch drone. Mingo causing trouble, whether it is with the Twitch drone itself or the F2 this time around. He's picked up 7 kills already, round 6. Better than 1 per round at this point. And you still have got all 10 left alive, including all 5 on the Blackjack side. So they need to work and get this done, opening up these sight lines here on the second floor to make sure they gain that space on the R6 room side. That is absolutely the focus. And you've got 2 of the Pack Runners guys playing in that room already, plus Oya holding onto the hallway outside. They're very, very focused. 4 of the 5 players on this second floor with 1:14 left.
This first kill going to be critical for both sides, honestly. Entry really playing the point of who is better, and this one might be difficult. It's a shotgun in hand to make a close swing. He gets sheesh, Letters finds
Wow!
one, Boots gets answered back onto, does take us into a 4-4, so the refrag was immediate, no advantage to anybody, but now the smokes start coming out. That's the last one, though. We still have 48 seconds left. This is going to be enough time to get in and really start to put the pressure on this isolated smoke here, and they do just that. He gets taken down. Man advantage goes into the hands of the attackers. It gets equalized immediately. Lou onto the trade again as they're back and forth. Now into a 3-2. Defense in a great spot to just hold the line. You still have to deal with Mingo. He's sitting 7-4, and J Guns, who has, of course, in previous games been the one. Any time for him to activate, now would be it. Mingo's going to find one, equalized onto the numbers. Goyle canisters go down as they start to put pressure onto the main breach area. Nowhere to run as Habana gets taken down. J-Gun's gone. Nugs and Sog both good for it, and they're going to find themselves on the better end of a 4-2 split.
4-2 split. All right, so it's exactly the same we saw from this Blackjack team during that Element game that we were talking about quite a bit. But to me, the biggest thing that we saw was the PACKRUNNERS adapt and then pick up 3 in a row. At the end of that first quarter, we're talking about how good this team is, how great they looked, how they're unbeatable on the basement, and PACKRUNNERS didn't hear any of that because we're on a 4-minute delay. And you know what? Adapted around it and came away with 3 in a row. Complete site sweep there with 2F basement and 1F all in succession and well played. Franklin and J Guns are, to me, a little bit of the surprising part. Typically, even on the hard support roles, those guys are contributing a little bit more. So we'll see if they can keep that mental locked in, that mental in check, and come back. Again, it's a best of 3. If you're just joining us, welcome in, everyone. This is the PACKRUNNERS playoffs. And yeah, it's the same team that dominated the Element qualifiers yesterday, but the PACKRUNNERS team is looking to almost prove that, you know what, maybe we should have been there in the end of it. But you got to stay together and you got to continue to win. This one doesn't carry the weight of the Element qualification games, but still money and ego on the line, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. So, scheduled timeout. It's 2 minutes, so you get a chance to talk about what you're bringing to the table. Not really a reflection on what you've done outside of, maybe some of the silly mistakes, peaking when you don't need to, aggressing forward without any support, that sort of thing. But really, now it's time to lock in the other side. Now, if we're seeing this play out standard, I mean, we could see OT in this first one. Going back and forth, I would not be surprised, right? Especially if Blackjack isn't specifically playing to that really aggressive nature that we watched all throughout the quals this last one. So really, honestly, this first round going to be a big teller of how the rest of this story is going to play out.
100%, my friend. So now the band phase. What do we want to see from this team? Where do they want to go as they move on to the defensive side? Previously, we saw them go with the Ying Glass Snake combo to get rid of when they were on defense. They like avoiding some of those chaos-causing agents. PACKRUNNER plays, certainly a little bit closer to the chest. We saw a lot of the shotgun swings. We saw a lot of this like the Mira vector kind of strategy. So they like playing up close and personal. And from a Blackjack perspective, okay, gonna get rid of the Grim this time, which just sort of feels like it's in that same vein as the Ying and Glass. And then the question will be, do you want to try and get rid of the Snake? Is Solid Snake just that good? Or, yeah, there it is. Run the Glass again.
I love the Glass ban, right? He's just been an absolute demon when it comes to an aggressive attack team and getting the other cheese off the board. The Grim gone as well. No intel when you start to make those push. The surprising one for me, though, Tachanka. It feels like that's really only a top floor necessity where you're like, that we don't want to deal with it there. But I mean, if that's what we're worried about specifically, we can't pretend to know comms or what the plan is. But getting the Tachanka off, I don't know. It feels like I mean, I guess if they win it, then yeah, that was the play. If they don't, then I feel like that could potentially also point to that being why.
To me, this is all about the ban phase for PACKRUNNERS was very much focused on one thing, which was Nugs and the Monty. And we have watched this PACKRUNNER team, specifically Nugs, play out this style previously. He loves the Monty. You get rid of the Tachanka, which really makes it difficult for Monty to enter in. Because he is slow, he's methodical, the defenders are going to know exactly where he's trying to enter and gain that space, and Tachanka can do a great job of just denying that area in a very variable sense, not focused like you see from the Goyo or the Smoke. And then the Ella as the alternative as well. This is all about keeping the Monty alive once you gain that space and not getting the shield break in. So to me, very, very focused from the attack side and working the Monty. So if you're talking about what a third ban is early on, it's gonna be dependent heavily on whether or not Nugs and the Monty is successful.
Agreed. Starting to make their way in. Also with an F2, not going to be the Twitch, though, in the hands of Snake. First one to go down, Jay Gunn's off the board. That's the Aruni DMR that has just got devastated. And look at this, Nug's just going to be right into the face of the Azami, and Azami just really unconcerned about it. But here's a little bit of a difficult position because you find yourself getting trapped really quickly. There's the bash, and they're able to just sneak in and take it. Mingo takes down the Snake in the process, but oh man, damage done. That was absolutely huge. Now a 4 versus 2, defense really on the back foot because that aggressive Nugs is just going to keep making the push up.
It's exactly what we expected out of him. Get right in the defender's face, push them out of the way, and the fact that he's already gained all of this this area is, you know what, I want to say a little bit surprising here because it's exactly what we expected, but the thing I didn't expect was how quickly he was going to be able to pull that off from the Blackjack side. It's for sure a little bit of a problem. So now Franklin and the Smoke has got a ton of work to do at this point. The problem is he's already used 2 of the toxic canisters, and Mingo has got to stay alive here with that C4 and get a ton of value from that utility.
Shotgun in hand, going to try to put some pressure on Nugs, gets him down to half health, but a full shield goes back up. That'll take down some damage, or at least slow him down. So he's going to be able to retreat back into sight, but that was the last canister. Thatcher goes down, going to be retrievable, which means for the last 60 seconds, we'll find ourselves in a true 4v2, I believe. Waiting for the swing. Another pre-fire, not able to find anything just yet. They've kept the wall closed for the most part from the operational side, so still not able to quite get in. A C4 is going to ring out, and it's not going to do enough damage. Shots now on the crossfire. They're not going to have to worry about the C4 anymore. He picks up, Franklin goes down, and now it's all going to be up to Mingo. Finds one, but now it's going to be a post-plant with a fully shielded Monty in play. All he's got to do is waste a little bit of time till the homies get there, and then it's a Bob's Your Uncle scenario.
Getting outside here. Is he going to go for, I was wondering if he was going to go for this, the play upstairs, holding on to the rappel on that window, and there, Pitbull is going to be the guy that gets it in. No way. He plays from down below to take the shot in a huge rotate. Man, well played there from the PACKRUNNERS attack. Again, off the back of Nugs and the Monty. So it's already starting to look like they're going to have to work a piece of this defensive play directly to counter the shields.
Well, we talked about that coming up to their attack, right? Nugs is an incredible shield player, and he is very aggressive with it, not afraid to take space, even when there isn't necessarily a ton of support there to back him up. So, yeah, might be a focus for it. It's one away from a match point scenario now, Run. It's 5-2. Blackjack kind of caught with her pants down on this one.
All right, so again, we talked about these guys being the masters of the basement. They owned layer basement. Now, it was a 1-1 on the first half of this, so let's see what they can pull off here on when they get into the defensive side of it. One of the things about this team was, again, they were very good at the vertical. And same thing, upstairs, you're a little bit more focused. You're a little bit, you struggle a little bit more to hold on to that space because it's very direct. Here, you're going to be able to take the attack a little bit more spread out. They've got the option. Same thing, when we look back at how did Blackjack do on defense on that previous game, they lost the second floor that opening round and then won basement and won when they went back to the second floor again. So they can absolutely win on this, but it seems like a very familiar path that they're taking on this. lose 4 in the first half, lose the opening, and then come back strong. So got to hold on though, and for sure try and take down Nugs. 8-3-3 right now, being a demon, and Jay and Franklin continuing to sit at those same KDs. Got a lot of value out of the utility to slow this team down, but could not convert that into more kills or into a round win.
J Guns holding a cheeky angle towards that top missile stair there. Hoping to catch somebody off guard with their back turned as they go to make their way up. And look, he gets sussed out. Mingo's able to find one because he's onto the sniper shotty. Of course, is one of his other favored weapons. And look at this. Damo's going to put some shots onto J Guns and almost gets rewarded with it. Down to a very low health scenario. He's going to have to make it back to the other drone and fill himself right back up.
You know what? It's one of the underutilized features of the Scopos for sure, is being able to get that instant health restoration. Obviously, extreme repositioning, great flank potential, but yeah, I mean, double health operator here, and going to continue to give the cam upstairs. The problem is if you needed to hold on to that space, backing off can be maybe a little bit early here, but already they've managed to kill more than half the round. We're at 1:20 left, so plenty of time left for this PACKRUNNERS attack to get going, but that's it. They're going to have to get going. Oh, use the environmental ingredient. Pop it right next to the Monty, my friend. There it is.
Okay. Good bet by Caster4 in the chat. So, Blackjack, if you want your logo tattooed on his butt cheek, it's time to bring this one back. They still got some presence here, Run. All the way up onto the second floor. It feels like Lou might have been missed here by any drones that were trying to come through and see what they had to deal with. So lots of well, they take a shot. They know he's there now, of course. He's going to start making the push up.
It was a distraction.
Find one again, and they get it. Huge. Nugs is able to pull one off with a pistol now as he's made his way into side. Does have diffuser, but nobody really close to help him put that pressure on. Smoke canister goes out. There's still 2 of them left in hand. He's got plenty of smokes to deny this last few seconds. 3-3 as it starts to ring out. They're going to start to make the push in. Instead, it's going to be the hatch drop. He's going to put some pressure on right now as the plant starts going down. They're going to find it. Double rings out, and boom, boom, and boom. Blackjack finds there first on the defensive side.
Absolute collapse there from the Blackjack defense on top of the PACKRUNNER attack. A little bit of a distraction. They had great 2v1 scenarios across the board, whether it was on that first floor, whether it was in the basement, right? We saw this. Vigil comes down the stairs, distracts the attacker, able to clean up that and gain control of that missile space. That was great teamwork there from the Blackjack defense, and PACKRUNNERS tried to take advantage of it, managed to get 1 or 2, taking down Jay, but it was a collapse there to close it off. And once again, masters of the basement here on Lair. They're going to try the second floor again, running that exact same style. What are they going to change up upstairs? No. Oh yeah, running J-Guns is going to switch onto the two-brow this time, and you're going to hold on to the DMRs. This map not quite as I think is not quite as effective, obviously, as Border in having success with the DMRs, but there's a lot of great angles you can hold here to cause some chaos for the incoming attackers. So they're gonna stock up a little bit of extra intel there with Letters running the Valcams, and honestly love that play as well.
Yeah, not a ton for the angles, but definitely quite a few. Defenders can stack utility in some of those choke points that really make it difficult to rush them. So pace setters on this one absolutely are going to go crazy. Do see the C4 on board. In fact, there's 3 of them, so looking to do some of that explosive damage. And they're looking to find out some intel very quickly, I think, to put that pressure on that roaming Monty, who's been so devastating.
One more round to decide whether or not he survives here, and again, a big question of whether or not Nugs is going to be that guy. He obviously can switch on to the other shields as well, but the one I think we got to keep an eye out for at this point is High, running that Solid Snake. See him banned out so often with walls direct from Ubisoft. and give you tons of information about where the defenders are, plus which direction they're looking. It gives you a ton of information not available anywhere else. So he's sitting at 9-6-4, having a great game, great contribution at this point. So it'll be a little bit of a battle between which one of these guys is the difference maker on this round. But I fully expect Blackjack this time to sort of adapt around it, and PACKRUNNERS are going to have to work twice as hard this time.
C4 out, but it's not going to do much damage. And look at that. He de-shields and is immediately taken off the board. A great pitch here by PACKRUNNERS as they're able to relegate Valkyrie to her own camps, unfortunately, for the rest of the round. And that's going to be a man advantage back into the hands of PACKRUNNERS. Doing a great job at systematically finding the roamers and isolating and then decimating them. And that could potentially be the difference maker here on Lair. Yin Candela goes out looking for some of that distraction, flashes as well, as they're going to take a couple of shots towards the window, but didn't quite get the distraction they were wanting, so able to hold fast. Another C4 goes out. It's going to be shot out of the air and unused. Smoke's going to allow the monster to push up. Candela's going to be the big distraction as everybody gets blinded out now. Ying does go down, so that's going to be a numbers equalized, and they're going to put the pressure onto the Smoke, who ends up finding it. Frank now going to be good for 2 or 3 as he gets onto the board.
Wow!
Striker goes down. Pitbull goes down, and all of a sudden, Blackjack look like they're going to find themselves within striking distance of tying this thing up. 40 seconds, and it's all onto the Snake to bring this one back. 2 smoke canisters still in hand, still a Zodo as well, and 2 DMRs that you got to deal with when you try to make the push. Gave away his location. They now know that he's holed up into the corner. He's looking for a couple of shots towards the rotate, but honestly, they just got to hold out here. They don't need to swing really unnecessarily, and they do. F2's going to find J-Guns off the board. He did find another kill, now taking him into that 2 and 9, but this is still winnable. 10 seconds left, and if he can find this kill, gosh, can't though. Boots and the DMR are going to claim him off the board, and there it is, Run. Blackjack's now within striking distance of tying this one up.
As expected. It's uncanny how close this game is to the Element game. Actually, kind of wild. They're winning the exact same rounds in order, in sight order that they did on their defensive half. It's got to be a coincidence, man. I know if I had a nickel for every time it happened, it'd be twice. That's not a lot, but it's still weird.
Okay, get into the bans. I love the Smoke ban. I love it. Honestly, take out both of the error denials. It's just going to allow you to get there quicker. The big problem is Franklin is not afraid of a Smoke ban. It might even have been playing into it so he can get that Echo ban if they go, or that Echo if they go back up to it. Instead, he's going to put himself onto the Vigil, and it's time for Franklin to activate across the map.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being captured by attackers.
Yeah, it is absolutely something to be worried about. It feels like one of the things that we've seen for sure from this PACKRUNNERS team, and you know they've gone under a few different names now with PACKRUNNERS org specifically, but you know what, they rely on some of the mental game too, smack talking a ton in all chat. Doesn't seem like they're running that strat this time, but it is absolutely a bit of a mental game, and that requires that you stay in the lead to be able to pull it off, to try and just catch them and close out. So the problem is Blackjack sometimes is just better at that style of gameplay. We talked about it a ton during Element, at how the console roller tourneys just go on literally forever. And it can take hours and hours and hours, and you have to play with people that you don't like to play with occasionally and still be successful. These guys are the masters at holding the mental edge in Rainbow Six Siege, so I feel very confident about them. That's why we said at the onset, on paper, these guys look like the ones to try and take this victory. So it's a little bit of an uphill battle for PACKRUNNERS, and they did a hell of a job pulling off a 4-2 half and then winning that opening attacking round. But they need to carry that momentum through a little bit further now at this point. And honestly, great job by Franklin and Jay to change up the storyline there. Picked up 4 kills there from Franklin, holding on to the stairs, and now, like you said, it long-range devastation with the Vigil here and the Boss G.
Man, it looked like we kept getting stuck on broken drones every time we tried to switch. First one goes down. Twitch is off the board, so not going to be able to get some of that util gone. Those Fenrir traps specifically that we're talking about, as Lou was able to find one off of the run out. Lou having a great game. He went into double digits here. Boots does go down in the return, so numbers get equalized. There's still plenty of time for them to work through it, though. As we're seeing yet again, Nugs up here taking some top space. The big difference here, Run, they're not applying pressure directly to the Monty, and I think that kind of is the smart call. Hold the angle, stall the timeout, don't need to be necessarily as aggressive. Wait for him to put himself into a bad position, and just like that, they do it. Fenrir trap and a Soulless is going to take down Nugs. That's going to give the main advantage back over to the hands of BLACKJACK.
PACKRUNNERS know what they need to do. We said it. They've got to get control here of the R6 room up top to be able to really be able to get a plant down, especially now without the Monty, without the Twitch. They're going to have to work in this very direct versus this team. And you can see, I mean, Pitbull and High are locked in. They're ready to try and make that push on the R6 room side, but BLACKJACK has got two upstairs holding on, plus outside in the window, and Letters is on a roll right now. He's going to get closed out, but he's the man that helped enable this team to pick up that win. Mingo is going to close it out so good on that Cade sniper shotty.
I made a tweet earlier today about, the next up console players. We've seen the rise of Stompin', Aiden, Raid Bullies, and now Kaysen, and it's like, who's in the conversation for that next one? And I tell you how many times Mingo's name came up in that, and he's proven it right now. 2.0 KD, as he's honestly in a position to potentially drop a 20 bomb here if he keeps on for the multi-kill. PACKRUNNERS now, they're going to take a timeout. They're going to sit and talk about it and go, hey, what happened, right? I think that's going to be the big conversation is all of a sudden momentum has changed and almost prophetically, Run, you predicted this scenario exactly.
100%. And you know what the other guy is, and you and I talked about it, was Franklin. Franklin is right there, made it all the way to the Element. He was the Element 5 winner, Element 6 finals, Spoit contender, and part of that M80X roster. He has been in the contention at the precipice of Pro League for the last year, honestly, and Franklin's stocks are high. Considering where they've been is wild. So the talent that you have on this BLACKJACK roster is the reason we were saying on paper they're looking like they can win this match. So PACKRUNNERS, if you're a PACKRUNNER fan, now's the time to step up, my friends. You've taken the time out. You're going back to the basement, the stronghold of this BLACKJACK team. You want to try and do to work around the way that they've been handling this. There's a couple of them that I love, obviously. I love seeing the Dokkaebi on this roster. And to go double shield, maybe a little bit of a stretch, but to have a roam clear operator, you're going to need it for sure. You can't use a Solid Snake this time around, but you need something to identify where are the BLACKJACK defenders playing. That is a significant, important piece of intel that this team needs, especially if you can steal the cams away from this team as well.
Heavy investment onto the first floor. 3 players up there, Lou, Boots, and J Guns, all going to try to slow down this team. And you're right, they did switch it up, went to the Blitz instead of the Monty, so a little bit quicker, a little bit more aggressive, and the Flash, of course, that can help take some of those. They've got an intel, and look at this. They're going to absolutely just move to try to crush onto him. Door gets opened up, but I don't know if it was enough time to put the pressure on. They weren't able to get it done just yet, so that means the Mute going to be able to be alive a little bit longer here.
A little bit of slow start here for the PACKRUNNERS attack, and really no one upstairs on the second floor. You can see that just the Dokkaebi upstairs literally on the stairs looking to make her way in, but this is mostly focused on that first floor. I know it's a basement site, but the problem is you've got Letters upstairs on the second floor. They have an opportunity for a huge flank coming out, so that's the piece that we got to be watching here for this PACKRUNNERS attack. Do they know the Vigil is upstairs on the lurk? That'll be the big one for me.
Yeah, it feels like that second floor has gone relatively undroned and could be, of course, that big difference maker. He is rotated down to the first floor, so his location is going to be given away. They're kind of trying to double up, and there it is. Jay Guns now going to start to activate himself. P10 Roney finds a headshot, and that's going to be a man advantage, and they get the alert finder off the board. Cheese Op goes down. Mingo's able to find one again. Finally, Nugs answering back as Lou goes down, but feels like a too little too late scenario. They're going to need at least 2 to be able to get themselves back into a position. Well, and they do just that, right? They find 1. Jay Guns is a low health. Mingo is a low health as well. So still winnable for a Pack Runners team. They've got some location, at least a little bit of an idea about where they're at. And again, Vertical Game going to start to claim a ton of space. Now, all of a sudden, it's equalized. And this feels a lot more winnable for a Pack Runners. Blitz starts to make his way in. He is going to get some damage, very low health. In fact, an impact could take him down, but there isn't any. 2 sitting onto this side of it. Can't quite get the plant down yet. Another smoke as they're holding the crossfire, waiting for it. F2
you gotta be kidding me.
As he's onto the triple kill, and now it's into a post-plant scenario. A couple of quick peeks. Blitz getting active, going for a shield bash.
That is
quite
wild.
find it, and instead, we're going to be breaking out the barbecue sauce for that 4-piece, baby.
Absolutely insane. There is no... God, I can't say there's no way in which that happens because they just freaking did it. But there is no way I thought Pack Runners, especially High, was going to be able to pull off a 4K in a man-down scenario when you had Letters go 13 and 10. It came down the stairs, cleaned up a double. They looked like they were absolutely locked in, and this thing was freaking over. Pack Runners pull it off. The timeout buff in effect. They take the timeout. They win the next round. I don't feel like it was because of strategy that they were able to pull it off. It really felt like they pulled it off out of some individual heroics from High. That was unbelievable. Well played.
Yeah, you send in basically a walking drone, right? Blitz was there for information purposes almost only. And as soon as he points him out, nobody up there to contest the vertical because we didn't see Lou stay up onto the top as well, which means there was no late round flank. And then, yeah, it's just picking like a fish in a barrel situation at that point. And they did a wonderful job. So Pack Runners now on a match point scenario here for map number 1. And a little bit of pressure starts to go back onto Blackjack as you don't want to head into the next series down 1.
Good news is it is a best of 3 scenario between these teams. Layer Consulate and, if required, Clubhouse. And honestly, if I'm Pack Runners, you're saying, I mean, this is obviously a must-win scenario. You have to win here. The problem is that taking this Blackjack team to Clubhouse, oh man. Clubhouse is the console playground. They love that map, so it'll be certainly a difficult one if that's where we end up. So, can they hold this off on Layer? Can they avoid overtime? That's what they need to do right now. This is such an important round for this Pack Runners team. Blackjack looking to send it to OT. And you know what? Upstairs, stronghold here again. Mingo sitting at 15. Letters at 13 and 10. Wild play from these two guys. Jay and Franklin have managed to pick up a few extras, but right now they're just trying to keep pace. High at 17, 8, and 4. Top frag in this server, especially off the back of that 4K. He was 13 before that. Right now, the man carrying the rest of this team, you said it, backed up by a ton of intel. Can they pull this off?
Well, you know, I'm almost hoping so, just to see Caster 4 have to get a tattoo. Like I'm kind of like rooting for that now as my ultimate goal. So Blackjack, do me a favor here. You know, bring this one back, and then Pack Runners, you can take the second map, and then we'll go to map 3 where you can guys settle it in a really brawl for it all best of 1 scenario. But we'll see. They put some pressure on the Nugs. He's back onto the shield, back onto the Monty up here for this top floor, and he's already taken a little bit of damage, but it was one of the C4s gone. They're not worried about it, Run. They've got 3 more where that came from.
Yeah, plenty here to try and slow this thing down. Using the Thatcher upstairs to try and keep this wall closed this time around. And they're using electricity on both of the main walls there, and they're going to hold off on the operational side. Nugs is going to get a lot of intel, but half health. He has had significantly less success with the Monty on the 4th quarter than he did in the 3rd. That was really where it felt like he was very strong on that op. and BLACKJACK has adapted around that play style and just is working to clear it. Look at this. You see an IQ try and go through 2 floors to clear out that Cade Claw and manages to get it. So they're going to open up the outside breach side of this, and man, Monty just pushing through the smoke. Completely lost, though.
What a play. They do get the kill on one of them. A nice trade, and Mingo's able to take one down as well. So, with just 20 seconds left, man advantage does sit into the hands of still into BLACKJACK, even though they got that kill as they were trying to jaywalk across the main breach area. So, holding it up by 11 seconds, and the diffuser has to go down right now. Boom! Ain't gonna happen because it's cold. Now into a 3-1, into a 3v none, my friend. We're all tied up, and we're going to overtime.
Gotta say it, brother. That's exactly what happened from their element game. That is that is insane, brother. What we're getting to see tonight. Yeah, let's send it to OT on layer. Okay, in that game, BLACKJACK was on the orange side, and the blue side won that game. So, you know what? You can pick which stat you favor here in this case. 6-6, headed into overtime. This time, BLACKJACK gets to start on the attack, and we're going to see 2F. And we look back at how did the PACKRUNNERS do on 2F in the first half of this map. They won the second floor both times it got played on the first and the fourth round. So it'll be a little bit dangerous here for this team. The question mark for me, oh yeah, picking up the Tachanka really does not feel like it's a super strong op we've seen overall. They've got no other area than now to back up the Tachanka this time. The big question though is Nugs has switched on to the Clash and is hiding the Clash in the corner of that main breach. And will BLACKJACK find her before it's too late?
Man, W. Friga, it was so dope being able to meet you in Utah and chat about some of that stuff. Appreciate the tier 1, homie. Enjoy those custom emotes, my friend. You can use them anywhere. Yeah, so, okay, tied up 6-6, hiding the Clash. It's one of my favorite strats onto the defense because, yeah, you're not sometimes going to be quite prepared for that. They didn't bring a ton of operators to help deal with the Clash as he gets active. They do have the Blackbeard, so they can put some shield pressure up for sure. They've got a lot of layers on this defense to have to get through. And I'm talking, you know, you start with the Warden and the Wamais, which are going to make it difficult to take the hallway. Then you have to contend with the Tachanka. Well,
okay,
you've dealt with the Warden, but now you have to deal with the Tachanka and the Clash, and then ultimately it'll be the Mirror sitting in that last one. Dang it on that one. Sorry about that one, Mr. Warden.
Okay, here it is, my friend. Minute gone. 4v5 scenario. The defense is down by 1. They lose the Warden. Sog is going to, unfortunately, have to just manage this piece from the cams. Franklin back onto the Blackbeard. This feels like a great spot for him. And I feel like they read into this from the BLACKJACK side perfectly. You've got J Guns on the buck. Keeping him alive to put pressure on the Clash is the most important role for this team right now. They have got to clear that out. They need to make sure that Clash is ineffective. And if you can, pick up that kill from down below. That is freaking perfect, my friend. And time is starting to tick down, so now the pressure starts to mount for this attacking team. You either got to get the kills or get this plant down. Either way, I'm glad the case is in Franklin's hands. He is a legend at that.
Okay, so, oh man, there's the down, and that was huge as they do put themselves into a 4-3 scenario. Man, they have just made some great space here and taken down some of the key operators. Clash being gone is tough, but they still have to deal with the fire from Tachanka. And that's what Buck's going to start doing right now, try to put some pressure onto him.
This is the job done, man. Taking down Nugs and the Clash is exactly what they needed to do. Still, all right, you know what? You're right. They still have got to clear this space out, trying to get some into R6 room here. Franklin is right there right now. He's got a nade in pocket. He can cause some motion on this defense side. 35 seconds, my friend. Who's taking round 1 in OT?
Hey, I love that we still have the Mira and the Tachanka up, so plenty of stopping power. We're going to see Pitbull with a little bit of damage done, but he's still alive to tail the tail. They have to start making the push in. They've got some good space on this side of sight, but I don't think it's held enough that they can get an execute down. Now goes the Mira down. Lou's able to find one as well. Now it's all going to be up to the Tachanka to bring this one back, and he is in such a tough spot outside of the sight. A quick swing, a pistol pop, a body drop, and a headshot, and they're going to find themselves an OT win.
7-6 Blackjack. Couldn't close this map out yesterday, or actually, you know what? We got to go back to Friday for that particular battle. Feels like they're playing a better game this time around, playing a stronger mental game. And I know we got some fans watching over from Mingo's stream as well. And, you know, it'd be great to hear the comms part of this as it's going, but don't want to be giving anything away at this point. 7-6 for this team. I got to believe that the vibes are high right now. They feel like this team just got better over the course of all of their element games.
They're looking good. It's put together, right? It's coordinated. It's doing really well because now they're in the scoreline advantage. And now they go back down to the basement, which you said was, of course, their best site on layer, I believe, on both sides of the board, right? So heading down to the defense, they've got themselves a little bit of area to now Lou, who has just absolutely spiked here alongside Mingo, 18-11, mind you. Mingo, 19-9, a couple of walking highlights here, and definitely the win con here for PACKRUNNERS. If they want any chance at sending this to overtime, those are going to have to be some of the first 2 kills off the board.
Insane, man. 19 and 18 kills for Mingo and Letters is just, dude, those guys are on fire right now. And what a stack this has been. You know what? This feels like the right place, right time for these guys to do some serious damage. And you know what? We talked about it during Element, but they have already qualified for Element. One of the first 4 teams to make it into that open qualifier. Maybe should have been part of the invite, but they qualified now. And what you get out of winning Element, guaranteed spot in the contender or in the Challenger Series playoffs, guaranteed spot in the NA Open Cup playoffs, and a spot in the SILCQs as well. There's a ton riding on this team, and so we're going to continue to see them get better and better and better.
Okay, here it is. They're going to try to get up onto this top floor, take space in a very fool me once scenario, you know, don't get fooled again. They're going to put some pressure onto this top floor player here, try to get Lou off the board early, which, of course, is what we counted as one of the win cons here. He's still holding up in the R6 room, and well, he was holed up into the R6 room, but he gets deleted, so man advantage into the hands of PACKRUNNERS with run a ton of time for this.
We got 1:30 left. Is this going to be the last round? Oh, Jesus. Saga's going to find what takes down Boots. Okay, so now you've got the Fraga leader in Mingo, plus Jay and Franklin, who have been hard support this entire game. Feels like Mozzie, though, with that P10 Roni, is the one that could get it done. But it is a big hill to climb when you're sitting down in a 5v3 scenario. It's 1:16 left, so all they really need to do is wait. The problem is they don't have a great track record of trigger discipline from this team. They love swinging and winning those shots.
That's true, and look at that. He fakes going back and then is going to have a confidence repeat here. Nobody put the pressure on him just yet until now. 2 of them now in a position to do just that. Monty starts to make his way up, and yeah, he's going to get the heck on out of there. Tail tucked. He's going to try to stay alive, so they have, in this last 45, at least 3 going into this potential execute phase here. Watching the vertical, holding, Pitbull waiting. Another does get droned out as they're still holding on to the vertical at least by 1. Franklin's up there. They're going to take a couple of shots, but it's not going to be enough. He doesn't get taken down, and it's going to be Nugs to find Mingo off the board, and now the Deimos has him locked on. Nugs, or the F2 is going to claim it, and now it's all going to be up to Franklin to bring this back. He has to be on pace for the ace. Plant's starting to go down as he makes his way into the tunnel, and they have an idea where he is at as the pre-fires start hitting every single door, and there it is. Plant went down. He's got got to work to find this one back, and he's got a full shielded Monty to deal with in the process. Not going to say that this feels hopeless, but this is a big hill to climb. Grenade's going to go out, and it's going to keep forcing the movement. He finds one and a low health onto Buck, but it's just not going to be enough. Buck swings back, and the headshot rings out. This one is we're going to require all 15 to get it done.
Wild, my friend. But just as we say they're the kings of the basement, they lose that defense again. A couple of early picks there was absolutely the difference maker. And oh no, Sog, don't start it. Don't start chatting. Don't bring that curse on your team, brother. This is it, 7-7. It comes down to it on the attacking side. Interestingly, in OT, both of the rounds won were on the attack. Very different what we see from this map statistically, generally. So 15, it's going to be 8-7 either way, and there is a ton riding on this, not just in the server, not just in the league, but in the community as well.
That's right. Man, look at the numbers being put up right now. One player already dropped the 20 bomb. High has just been unstoppable this game. But on the other side of it, there's two more doing it. Mingo and Lou both on the precipice of a 20 bomb as well. I love that we are in a 15 round, every single second needed, and we are going to have multiple people potentially dropping 20 bombs to get this one done.
That is crazy. Multiple 20 bombs is just absolutely wild. PACKRUNNERS, though, are going to tempt fate, and I am still going to absolutely side on this statistically. They're going to play basement defense against this BLACKJACK team. They struggled more on the second floor, right? We saw the PACKRUNNERS win the second floor every time that it got played when they were on defense. So now, what do you want to try and do here? I guess except we'll take a step back and say except on round 13, where we did see them win, but that felt like more of a fluke than winning here on the basement. So still feels a little bit surprising. BLACKJACK needs to keep themselves alive, play the vertical in a way that that upsets the PACKRUNNERS defense. And then if you're a PACKRUNNERS fan, yeah, hope you can catch one of these guys off guard. Maybe, you know what, I wondered whether or not we'd see some very early defensive aggression, try and catch one of these guys on a window, on a spawn peak maybe. That could be the mental edge that they need just to send them over.
Okay, one last round, one last chance for Four's left butt cheek. BLACKJACK fans unite if you want to see that happen, my friend. We're switching it up a little bit on the defense. We did bring out another trap, right? We have been opting for the Ella here, and this time bringing out the Thorn, which is going to be, of course, going to slow it down quite a bit more, except for, you know, we're bringing Mingo out with the Twitch, right? He's great at finding and sussing these out. So I imagine he'll probably be able to take quite a few of those traps down.
That's the goal. Clear this stuff out. Make sure you get some space with that defensive utility. And look at this. Sog is going to make the change very early downstairs into the basement. I don't know whether or not... I don't know what the risk was upstairs. Could have held on to that space significantly longer. Nugs is playing the mute upstairs and in the medical side and just waiting, hoping to hide. So for sure the guy to be watching, though, is High. You said it, 20 bomb already. Can Mingo and Lou catch up and do the same sort of damage? I feel like they're playing a little bit direct here downstairs in the basement. Not so much the top-down clear we've seen from them previously. And, man, Nugs is just playing this rat play that should not work in competition. There are some times he just absolutely catches you off guard.
Lion Bings go out. Get a couple of sus moves. Ram's going to open it up and hope to catch somebody slipping. There it is, one down. Boots is going to find it. That's a man advantage now into the hands of BLACKJACK with just over 60 left and a huge start, but he's still got a presence up here. There's a couple of folks sitting up onto the first floor, and he's going to try to make it seem maybe
they
like
don't know
he's
about
not
it.
Looking, but he is waiting for it. He's got an idea. Lou's going to take another one as Pitbull goes down. down now into a 5v3. They're gonna have to take the swing up here. Nugs is gonna find J-Guns in the return.
No way!
High's be able to find 2 as the numbers get equalized, but Nugs goes down. It's all gonna be down to a 1v1 in the last round. Lou, 20-12. High, 23-10. The
No way!
battle for Vert, and the last 30 seconds as they're trying to hold out. Flash goes up top. Doesn't have the diffuser in hand. It's down cold. 19 seconds means he's going to have to go for the kills.
You got to be
the
kidding
yellow
me.
stairs. Run. They are in an old-fashioned 1v1 showdown here. Plant starts going down. He's going to have to stick this for any chance at having hope to fight this out. He's going to be able to do it. He finds one, pre-fires towards the rotate. He's going to make a big rotate around. He's got an idea where he's at. A Thorn gadget goes off. He's starting onto the diffuse. Coming from the other side, he doesn't stick it. He gets back off. A little bit of a fake, but pros don't fake, so he's going to go back to it. On to the rotate. 27 seconds between map 1
No!
and High's going to claim it for the quad kill. Pack Runners will find map number 1, and they will do it by the skin of their teeth.
You gotta be kidding me!
Oh,
Man.
my Lord.
The man, holy cow! And Nugs commenting on the fact that one of their players dropped, and High, the most recent addition, he pulls off a pair of 4Ks at the end of this match to send this team into a victory. That is honestly absolutely insane, my friend. What a wild finish to map 1.
What a game. What a match. What a map, and just an all-out. What? It's what we always want.
Bro.
The 1v1
Bro.
showdown post-plant scenario, all 15 required. Like, that has been on my bucket list for 3 years. We just got to watch some absolute cinema, and it just gives me chills knowing that we potentially have 2 more maps of this coming up. Oh, man.
Individual heroics right there at the end. Absolutely. 4K to keep the team alive when they're in a 5v3 at the end in round 15. We're saying BLACKJACK's won this. The phone was already dialed to the tattoo artist at this point. And then High comes out of nowhere, picks up 8 kills in like the last 3 rounds of this game. That is
24
honestly
total.
insane. 24 total.
24.
Yeah, PACKRUNNERS W pickup for this team. W pickup. That says nothing about how good this BLACKJACK team is, because they got so close to winning this. Obviously, you got to close out this map, but potentially 2 more to go, my friend. Consulate and, if required, Clubhouse next to close out the best of 3. But man, what a wild finish to map 1. Appreciate everybody being here for that one, to getting to see the Element 2026 qualified BLACKJACK team take on PACKRUNNERS in the PACKRUNNER playoffs.
Beautiful, beautiful. Please, Tom Cruise, give us a map number 3. Come on, baby. Okay, well, you know what we got to do. We've got to get that lobby set back up. We appreciate you all coming in to watch some PACKRUNNERS playoffs here. Great numbers tonight. Everybody's showing up to watch what was just, I don't know, probably will be one of the greatest rounds. Like, I'll probably talk about that for years to come. It was so peak. Anyway, we got 2 more potentially coming up. So sit back, relax, because when we come back, we're going to get started with the second map. Bayo.
Let's go.
Alright, tech geek, time to face the dread. Got the drop on you already in your head. You think you're untouchable, queen of the firewall. Crack your defenses, watch your empire fall. Whispers in the dark, that's my domain. While you're clicking round, I'm bringing the pain. Silent steps, jungle cat, hunting my prey. You just a screen flicker fading away. Please, a relic of the past, tribal and old. Your stealth is a joke, a story to be told. I control the net, every camera, every phone. While you're creeping slow, I'm already known. I flip the script, make your team dance for me. A digital puppet show for all to see. You hide in shadows, scared of the light, while I rewrite the code day and night. Cold monkey, thinking you run the show. I'll unplug your world, watch your ego go. Hand-to-hand combat, where's your skill then? Hiding behind screens again and again. Rogue warrior, that's the life. Ali, you just a keyboard warrior. Planting digital seed, track you down through the backdoor seat. No games don't work on me. Games? Honey, this ain't child's play, this is war. Information is power, that's what I'm here for. You stalk in silence, but I shatter your stealth. With a single hack, I control your health. Got drones on standby, pinpointing your location while you're lost in the dark. Facing elimination, future is digital, you just can't compete. Outdated tech, admit defeat. Future, please, the future needs teeth. Raw instinct can't be beat underneath your fancy gadgets. When the power goes down, you're just a pretty face wearing.
Listen up, it's your boy the Big T, about to drop some truth on this Sparky fleet. Bandit, you a joke, a dollar store MacGyver, taping batteries, real innovative, I admire. That struggle, son, break your name to problem, more like a hobby. 6-inch, hold straight to your lobby, think you stopping me? Hey, octhermy, always with the big booms, think you're hot stuff, just cause it's sonic booms. My batteries, they sing, shock you senseless, little boom boom man, quite defenseless. My traps are art, you're just a big dumb target, easy pick. I'm making entry, that's my guarantee. While you hiding corners, scared of me, burning through your tricks. Watch it sweat, remember my name, don't forget. Forget your name, please, I can't erase the image of you. Failing disgrace, your big wall gone, fizzled and weak. My electrifying power peak, try to compete. Cute, little explosions. Explosions cute, wait till I'm done. You be screaming louder than a punk. I bring the heat, you bring the tingle while you playing games. I make the building mingle with the sky, my guy. Think about that. It's Friday night, the game's burning bright, screens glowing hot in that late night light. Two voices cut through the smoke and the noise, calling every clutch, raising hell with the boys. They ain't talking whiskey, they ain't talking beer, they're pouring siege plays right in your ear. Every round's a story, every play's a fight. I'm hanging on their words till the morning light. So pour me another siege double shot, strong like a breach when the wall gets popped. Running through the maps, give me all you got. Raise up your glass, let the highlight drop. From bronze to champ, we'll take the shot. Yeah, pour me another siege double shot. From outback bars to them clubhouse nights, bank vault dreams and consulate fights. They paint the chaos with every call, turning broken drones into legends tall. I ain't sipping bourbon, I ain't sipping rye. I'm drunk on the casting and I'll tell you why. When they shout the fuse down, I swear I can fly. Echoes of victory light up the sky. So pour me another siege double shot, strong like a breach when the wall gets popped. Running through the maps, give me all you got. Raise up your glass, let the highlight drop. From bronze to champ, we'll take the shot. Yeah, pour me another siege double shot. It ain't about the fame, it ain't about the gold. It's the stories they're telling that'll never grow old. Two voices riding shotgun on the ride, turning every round into a country pride. So pour me another siege double shot, louder than a C4 when the clock runs hot. I'll drink to the clutches, I'll drink to the plays, I'll drink to the duo that's lighting the stage. From overtime brewers to the last gunshot. Yeah, pour me another siege double shot. Bartender, keep it steady, don't let it stop. Just pour me another siege double shot. shot. Yo, they call me Clutch Money Z, R6 guard, big brain. Strats colder than the Penguins' main vein. IGL status, yeah, I run the squad. Opponents see me coming, they just nod. Defender of the week, that's my other gig. Clutching rounds, opponents feeling real sick. Dark rhymes, razor sharp, slice through the sound. Why these other rappers can't be found? They sleeping on me, let them snore, Wake them up with a headshot, that's for sure. Clutch Money Z, yeah, that's the name, Game on the line, I'm taking all the fame. No stress, under pressure, I stay cool, dropping bombs, breaking every rule. Got the map knowledge, a photographic mind, leaving fools behind. One of a kind, my call-outs crisp, precision on point. Their hopes dissolve, their dreams disjoint. See me on the cam, better disconnect. My rep growing like a real architect. Building wins one round at a time. Lyrics and bullets intertwined.
What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're back with the Siege double shot. We tell the story, the rounds unfold. Siege double shot turns moments to gold. From clutch to collapse, from silence to roar. We give you the tale you've been waiting for. The crowd in the game, the thread we weave.
What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. Every frag, every play here on the Siege double shot. We're back for map number 2. Map number 1, absolute banger. Cinema, chef's kiss, no notes, my friend. It took it all the way to 15 to get it done. And in the end, it was PACKRUNNERS to find the first. I mean, you just can't script it any better than that, if there was a script.
No script indeed, my friend. That was an absolutely wild match. If you caught the end of it, really, you got to see a little bit of you know what? Siege cinema, absolute cinema there at the end of it. That was wild. So we're getting ready to start map 2. It has been, I know I said it, rehost hell to start this thing off. You know, just a little bit of back and forth. But the next map is Consulate, and what we see the chaos from starting on Lair moves into, for sure, a more structured map over on the Consulate side. 3 full 4s. Plenty of opportunity to try and clear this thing out, but got to get through a couple of rehosts at the beginning of this. Looks like, yeah, I think we're gonna catch another one again. This would be the third, unfortunately. So it happens, my friends. You know what? It's part of Siege. It wouldn't be live Siege without some live Siege problems. We really ran a solid, clean weekend during Element for a very long time. So some days are just like that, my friend. So we'll take a quick break, get ourselves back into the end of the rehost, and jump back into this thing as soon as we're ready. Blackjack PACKRUNNERS map 2 coming up on Consulate.
Hey yo,
let's go.
Alright, tech geek, time to face the dread. Got the drop on you already in your head. You think you're untouchable, queen of the firewall. Crack your defenses, watch your empire fall. Whispers in the dark, that's my domain. While you're clicking round, I'm bringing the pain. Silent steps, jungle cat, hunting my prey. You just a screen flicker fading away. Please a relic of the past, tribal and old. Your stealth is a joke, a story to be told. I control the net, every camera, every phone. While you're creeping slow, I'm already known. I flip the script, make your team dance for me. A digital puppet show for all to see. You hide in shadows, scared of the light, while I rewrite the code day and night. Cold monkey, thinking you run the show. I'll unplug your world, watch your ego go. Hand-to-hand combat, where's your skill then? Hiding behind screens again and again. Rogue warrior, that's the life I lead. You just a keyboard warrior, planting digital seed. Track you down through the back door, see your little games don't work on me. games? Honey, this ain't child's play, this is war. Information is power, that's what I'm here for. You stalk in silence, but I shatter your stealth. With a single hack, I control your health. Got drones on standby, pinpointing your location while you're lost in the dark. Facing elimination, future is digital, you just can't compete. Outdated tech, admit defeat. Future, please, the future needs teeth. Raw instinct can't be beat underneath your fancy gadgets. When the power goes down, you're just a pretty face wearing.
Listen up, it's your boy the Big T, about to drop some truth on this sparky fleet. Bandit, you a joke, a dollar store MacGyver, taping batteries, real innovative, I admire. That struggle, son, break your name to problem, more like a hobby. 6-inch, hold straight to your lobby, think you stopping me? Hey, octhermy, always with the big booms, think you're hot stuff, just causes sonic booms. My batteries, they sing, shock you senseless. Little boom, boom, man, quite defenseless. My traps are art, you're just a big dumb target, easy pick. I make an entry, that's my guarantee. While you hiding corners, scared of me, burning through your tricks. Watch your sweat, remember my name, don't forget. Forget your name, please, I can't erase the image of you. Failing disgrace, your big wall gone, fizzled and weak. My electrifying power peak, try to compete. Cute, little explosions. Explosions cute, wait till I'm done. You be screaming louder than a punk. I bring the heat, you bring the tingle while you playing games. I make the building mingle with the sky, my guy. Think about that. It's Friday night, the game's burning bright, screens glowing hot in that late night light. Two voices cut through the smoke and the noise, calling every clutch, raising hell with the boys. They ain't talking whiskey, they ain't talking beer.
Spectators and players, rehost done data, which means we could get it started on map number 2, Consulate. Man, fingers crossed that we get the same sort of intensity that we watched on map number 1, right? Both teams just fighting about it. And yeah, it's a little bit of an ego battle here, right? Pride on the line for this one.
100%, my friend. You said it. Now back into it. Pride on the line. Blackjack, you know what? They've already qualified for the Element main season. They were one of the 4 teams that made it through the gauntlet that was a 128 team bracket over the weekend. If you haven't signed up your team for the open qualifier number 2, get on it, my friends. You've got the opportunity to win your path into the NA official T2 circuit there with Element. Blackjack's already pulled the trigger, pulled it off. PACKRUNNERS trying to show that they can take down one of the titans of Tier 2 here in the PACKRUNNER League, my friend. We're in the round of 16 playoffs here for PACKRUNNERS, and we will be covering the grand final when it gets down to that point, but lots of Siege left to be played before we get to that spot, my friend. So, you know what? A devastating loss, heartbreaking in the words of Rainbow Six, to lose 8-7 double overtime victory for PACKRUNNERS. So Blackjack now has got they got something to prove. Looking for them to come back very strong here on map 2.
Love the bands that we had come out for this, right? Onto the defense, the Azami seems like an absolute gold mine of a band here, right? Sometimes people are opting for the area denials. We see a lot of Smoke Tachanka bands on this one, even the Goyos that come through. But I feel like the mute for one means that, yeah, we definitely are going to want to get those drones in play, right? Specifically highlighting Mingo on the F2. He's a demon at getting that extension util gone, and now it's going to be a little bit easier without that shotgun from mute in hand.
30 seconds in.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it was gonna, I mean, I want to hear about the ops too. I mean, but 30 seconds in, I was going to say, it still feels like we were seeing the Blackjack attack again move a little bit slower this time. Again, so good at the vertical play. Deimos not banned this time, so now they get the opportunity to play from down below, and I think that's a fantastic way to put some pressure on this Pack Runners D upstairs. They're going to have to deal with nugs and all of those trip connectors, so that's got to be a focus early on in this. Mingo is back on the F2 and the Twitch and just looking to clear out this utility.
I love how they got it set into the windowsill as well, right? You can't just push up and take the shot. You're either going to have to take a debuff or get something in to take those off the board. And this time, they've got it all the way up to the spiral area. Nugs playing off the deployable, kind of an off spot there to try to take that initial engagement when they make the swing. Nugs goes down, however. It does get traded back as Jay Gunn's life is also forfeit. Does equalize here up to a 4-4. Now they've taken some good space, right? But now they've got to deal with that great invisible wall that is the top floor here.
They're working this space. You can hear the trip connector go off there as it takes down one piece of utility. Nobody on the debuff, but it's absolutely a admin horizontal overtake as they're working on clearing the space. You've got one mirror window that is potentially going to be a problem here. Finally cracked, so now it's a solid wall, but the opportunity to C4 comes out. They're going to bait it with the smoke. Great play there from the Blackjack attack, but now you're talking about 50 seconds left.
You called it. Final 45 counting down. They've made the cross up onto this. Now it's some flashes as they're going to try to put some pressure onto the player playing into the corner. Waiting and leery of the potential cross swing here. And there it is. Takes a couple of shots as the flash goes out. Pitbull's able to find one. Lou answers back as the trade happens into a 3-3 now. Ella on a low health. They are going to find one. A Vector to ring out and claim two as High's going to continue his threat, continue his danger with a quick two-piece. Plant starting to go down, and it will be a post plant, but well, geez, not for very long, my friend. C4 rings out, takes Lou, and that's going to be a defense to start us.
One of the things that I think is absolutely a highlight of the Blackjack team, and Franklin in particular, is his ability to go for the objective-based gameplay. Had an insane number of plants on the games that he's a part of. So good at holding on to that. But the problem is you absolutely have to have the rest of the team locked in to cover that post-plant scenario, and that's where you can start to see some of the attacks fall apart. So they got close here. Letters was there, my friend. But Pack Runners on the defense, on the second floor, pulls off a win. Again, those second floor sites, the top floors, if you will, is not necessarily the place we see that Blackjack team really thrive on the attack. Now we move into that space as we go down to the basement. So what has the Pack Runners D learned out of all of this? Yeah, I love the soulless play here to be able to try and get some intel on where we're seeing the Blackjack team, and especially if Mingo spent a little bit of extra time on the Twitch drones, could put him in a difficult position using the soulless to find where he's hiding while using that gadget. So it's a little bit of back and forth between these two teams, and W Raid, man.
Hey, yo,
let's go.
Thank you so much. What's up and welcome in, Raiders. We are in Pack Runner playoffs, my friend. We're on map number 2. Pack Runners took a decisive victory in map number 1. It took all 15 to get it done. And in the end, yeah, Pack Runners claimed it. So it's now Blackjack playing a little bit behind here on map number 2 and starting out on attack. They're on attack the entirety of this best of 3, right? They're starting attack on every single one of them. So it's kind of a business as usual here. Got a mirror in place, so a pocket mirror, trying to hold on to those as long as they can, trying to keep it away from those devilish little Twitch drones that Mingo will get inside of there. And they're rocking double F2s on this one run, bringing out the Snake and the Twitch for this.
I'm actually a little bit surprised we didn't see the mirror band to start this thing off. Was one of those ops that was really a little bit of a difficult one for the Blackjack attack to deal with. So they go for the Azami and the smoke as the alternative. You know what? I thought we might see the Mira go, but I was going to continue to run that 2-0. Again, top fragging on this team, left alive here at this point. He's the guy we got to watch out for. Individual heroics indeed. Letters is going to continue that as well. 4-1 to start this thing off. Currently only guy that's gotten any kills on the Blackjack side of the map. That is certainly unusual for this team. So we're going to look to see the rest of these guys get a little bit more active here as we're into round 2.
That man deficit already up by 2. They've got themselves onto some of that first floor, but didn't pay the price for it. Again, Vector's going to ring out. J-Gun's going to be held to 0-2 throughout the first. Get a little bit closer to equalizing here. Trying to play onto that vertical. Flush some of these players out of these critical push points, but not quite in a position to find them just yet, right? Tucked just enough away inside of construction and cafeteria that they don't have to deal with it. The big part, the big play, here comes Ella up onto the first floor, looking to play a little bit of spoiler on the lurk roll.
You heard those
3 as it starts to count down.
That smoke is out again as the C4 baited. It just misses, though. Franklin's going to get this diffuser down. That is perfectly played.
Still, though, man advantage is into the hands of the defense. They find one after the plant goes down, and now it's just going to be a hold scenario. They've got one up onto the first floor and one onto the main bridge, so you're going to have to take these battles individually here. Couple of shots as they're putting it towards them. And
there it is.
Boots is able to find it now into a 2-2 scenario. A very difficult retake because you got to put the pressure on up top and below. Look at this, going for the ninja defuse. Just in a place to hold it. Looking for that top, and they are going to find that first one, but he didn't stick it.
Oh my God. Boots goes down.
Yeah, they've got time. Pitbull on the quad kill. They're going to seal up this defense nice. Man, I thought for sure he lost it since he didn't stick that when he got up, but they had just enough time to bring that back.
Man, what another wild round here from this team. That is twice in a row. They have got the diffuser down and then lose it in the post-plant scenario. And again, individual heroics coming out in a way that I think we didn't expect. That was a 4K from Pitbull there on round 2. Man, these guys have been thriving right now on some individual players heating up and taking advantage of the situation. And I think, I don't want to say catching Blackjack off guard, but you know what? Occasionally, you can get a player that gets hot and completely shuts a team down. That really is what it feels like we're seeing here in this case. That is unfortunate from the Blackjack side. Franklin has been in that spot, getting the plant down, defensive, objective-based gameplay. You know what? He reminds me of this conversation we have about Canadian all the time, going into the Pro League side is, you know, when the IGL, the hard support, and the guy that's getting the plant down has to get kills to try and keep rounds alive, that's when you know things are not going well. That's not his role at all. We don't expect to see tons of kills coming out from Franklin, but he's absolutely getting his job done, getting the plants down. So, you know what? Now it's time to try and just cut down some of these pack runner players that are heating up. That could be the difference here from winning and losing. And right now, the individual heroics are just carrying this team.
That's a good point. They do find themselves kind of having to rely on it, and it makes it more difficult. Twitch drone is going to get sussed out by the Solus, which means those trip connectors are going to be up just a little bit longer. Still one in the pocket. Got a ton of layers that they got to get through here, Run. It's definitely the attempt. You have to go top down here because the investment is so significant. I think 4 players up here, making sure that they claim that vertical. Now, here's the big thing. If they can take out the player in sight, and Deimos is going to be looking to be the one to do that, then they can't get a potential to flood in, even though there's a ton of soft breach up here. A little bit of pressure onto the top floor, and then another execute, and Bob Jonko, you find yourself in a post plant.
Minute 55, 30% of the round gone at this point. And yeah, tons of a vertical hold here from the Pack Runner D. They're adapting into what they know they need to do to win against this Blackjack attack squad is make sure you hold on to the vertical piece. They're going admin overtake one more time. And you take a look at where the Pack Runner defense is at, 4 upstairs on the second floor. This is a very strong hold. They've managed to clear out all of the trip connectors, though, so they don't have to worry about any of those pieces of utility. They know where Sog is playing on this Solus, and they're about to collapse onto that position. She's locked into a space that I don't think is going to hold on for very much longer, but all you got to do is waste time in that spot. That is your role. Even if it results in a death, just waste time.
It's exactly the name of the game here for the defense. Waste time and rely on some of that extension util, some of that pace-setting gadgetry. You can hear the air jabs going out. They've claimed some good space, but now's the time to put the pressure on towards the vertical directly over sight. Nobody had an exchange of combat just yet. Deimos ping does go out, and he's going to take the swing.
No
and
way.
High is just going to delete Jay off the board. Lou will answer back, so the numbers get equalized here. And there it is. Look, exactly what we talked about. A little bit of pressure onto the second floor. Suss out the first floor player. Get in and plant. They did exactly that, and they find themselves now in a post-plant scenario, a 3v1, and looking the best shot to be able to get their first round on.
That was it. They needed some individual heroics, this time from Mingo, and Franklin is a perfect 3-0 so far on successful plants. That's a stat we got to keep track of as well, Red. I know Jay Guns right now, this is uncharacteristic from him, sitting at that 0-3 mark, as well as the opening pick on 2 of those rounds. Uncharacteristic for that guy. PACKRUNNERS taking advantage of a few mistakes and maybe a little bit of a lackluster day from some of the Blackjack players. And you know what? That's all it takes sometime any given Monday. Happy Memorial Day to those that support. You know what? Here we are. It's a holiday, and we're having some fun. And right now, best of 3 between these two, and PACKRUNNERS are up 1-0 in this best of 3.
Okay. Well, they take it on the Tersh, which kind of expected for Consulate, right? Where it's a defensive-sided map. A little bit closer than some of the others, but still defensive-sided. So we expect that. Should see PACKRUNNERS take the 2 primary sites, and then maybe the big test be on the Tersh. So really, this should play out in the 4-2 split, and I would be very unsurprised about it.
Whew, man. All right, first quarter done and dusted. And you know what we talked about early on in this game? Surprised that the Mira wasn't picked as one of those ops to go down. There it is. Now she's gone. Now they don't need to worry about that. Feels like it was just a piece of utility that they had to work extra hard at trying to clear out, and it was not working in their favor. So PACKRUNNERS going to take down that Nomad again, signaling to me that they want to spend a little bit more time trying to spread out this defense across the map. And how do you want to try and play this? You see, Nugs was located here downstairs in the lobby in a very isolated position. Blackjack can for sure try and catch one here. He's passive. He's got all of his utility down at this point, but Nugs 0-3, again, similar to Jay and Franklin, uncharacteristic with especially what we saw on that previous map. Wow. That was for sure not what I was expecting. I thought they had him droned, knew where he was, and somehow Nugs turns that information advantage or information disadvantage on his side into a 1v1 gunfight that he wins. That is what they can't have happen.
Okay, that's a tough one. A man advantage early over to PACKRUNNERS and onto the defense starts to spell certain disaster, because you can start to condense a little bit closer, bring your zones in a little bit closer, and inch by inch start getting back to sight, all while still making sure that you're putting pressure on this attack team. They made their way into Visa, or into admin over here. So now the big next step, the big invisible wall. They get some drones out there, but unfortunately, Twitch Run's going to get shot down, and I think that was the last one. So trip connectors, either we're going to have to walk into him, get that debuff, or it's going to start to see Flores get in here and find some plays.
Yeah, he's got to. Jay's run, and they've used all of the Flores drones now. Still a couple of those trip connectors are still up. That space, though, absolutely destroyed. Jay gets one there, but he's taken down by Nugs again. 4v3. Finally, we see a little bit of action out of him as he picks up his first. Now holding on to just a 3v4 scenario. Final minute of gameplay, and they're going to continue to work the information advantage, but the trip connectors are just stuck there. You're talking about, what is that, 20 HP lost if you just walk through both of those lasers at the same time. They need to clear out this utility, and now you still have got plenty over on the other side of this map. The default plant is there, and Sog picks up. Did they perfectly line up on that doorway?
No, not the collateral. Stacked up on the doorway, sees double duty on Death's side. Now into a 1v4. Boots with a debuff, no diffuser in hand, has got to try to bring this one back in 24 seconds, but it's a quick swing as they're able to take him down, and yep, okay, 2F goes back into the hands of PACKRUNNERS.
That really feels like a stat that we might want to keep track of as well. I mean, this PACKRUNNER team has been basically undefeated on that second floor. They play when they don't have to play the vertical. They play extremely well, and they, you know what, they caught that little crazy pick on the letters right after that opening shot. So he's the first guy to go down. Again, a little bit uncharacteristic since he dropped nearly a 20 bomb on the last, but still, the guy that has had an incredible game here. High was sitting at what? Let's see. He was 8. Yeah, 8-1. He's picked up 32 kills between the two maps so far, and we aren't even done with the first half. That is a wild way to start out a best of 3. And some individual heroics that are very difficult to try and counter. And then you talk about Sog picking up a double, and catching some luck here at the end. Siege certainly is not all luck, but you know what? There are days where luck just does not go your way, and it feels like we're getting to witness that in action here with Blackjack.
Well, man, I'm not sure. Call it luck, call it skill. I'm telling you, High is definitely him tonight. I don't know if we can call it generational or not, as he's starting to do it 2 maps in a row, right? Is definitely the walking highlight. He has definitely become the conversation of the win con for Blackjack, right? If you want to win the round, you have to start by taking High off the board, because that man has been good for a multi-kill almost every single round. I mean, shoot, we're at 8 kills. We're in round number 5. He's averaged 2 kills per round just in this map alone.
Yeah,
finding a way to deal with him is going to be huge.
Good. Crazy good right now. And I like what, you know what, and just talking about what they're bringing so far, I love that they got 3 C4s on the board plus the Cade. They're going to make sure that they try and keep that main wall down. But look at this, J-Guns using that. All right, Red goes the other direction. He's the opening kill this time around. But the problem is he going to be the opening death on their side? Yes, he goes down. Unfortunate. You tell me how we count that one. Yeah, I love that he was using the gadget upstairs to try and clear out the single roamer. They take down the Ella, but leave this team in a 4v3. How about a 3v4 now as Nugs takes down Lou one more time? Those two guys locked in eternal battle, and High is going to keep padding this kill count, taking long shots with the sniper shotty. They've only got 2 C4s left on the board, which is a little bit of consolation there for the Blackjack attackers, but Franklin and Mingo now are going to have to pull off what feels like a very difficult run here in a 2v4.
He's playing both, main breach and the vertical. A couple of shots towards yellow as the call goes out, but not able to find it. And then a quick swing down the other side. Franklin again going to go down as Sog's able to help on the pinch maneuver. That puts us into a 1v4. Mingo's got to be perfect. Grismoth's going to go off and be completely disorienting. So he's going to have to stay here at the bottom of Spiral, waiting for that buzz to trip away. He does, now takes a shot, but Sog again is going to find Mingo off the board, and PACKRUNNERS going to continue that that primary, secondary dominance.
Wow. All right. So that's some W intel there coming out from Chaka. Yeah, getting grilled in the comps certainly not unexpected. I mean, he's probably a little bit more than grilled right now. Probably absolutely cooked with how things are going. He absolutely needs to step this up because it's not one map. Right now, we're at 2 maps in a row that have been a bit of an issue here for this team. So Blackjack's down 1-4. Very close to a unfortunate 5-1 kind of a situation. For sure, Clubhouse is the spot that I expected them to absolutely dominate. We knew that Lair was going to be close. They need to find a way to win here on console in order to send it into Club. That's a spot where I know we could see this team come up big. But PACKRUNNERS seems to have got a lot of stuff figured out in terms of both play style, positioning, and how to counter the way that Blackjack has been running this offense. And I know it can be a struggle. The mental game can be a struggle with this team. Love to be listening to those comms as well. So, you know what? Go ahead and keep feeding us some of that intel.
Yeah, that's the big thing with Blackjack, right? They're all known streamers. We've all watched them for a really long time, and we know that this is a momentum-based team. And when the momentum is not in their favor, sometimes it can be difficult to pull it back. Now, they did on map number 1, right? They had the mental fortitude to bring it back. It required all 15. They were very close to claiming it. So the growth for sure by Blackjack is definitely seen and evident as they've made it into the comp scene, but it's still a relative factor, right? It still can get down. And when you've got the team telling you you're going to get dropped mid-series, well, I mean, yeah, that could be a little shocking for sure. J Guns, he's aggressive. You're right, Chaka. We've talked about that a lot. We even talked about that in the pre-show, that it is a very high-risk, high-reward situation when playing with J Guns, because when he's hot, when he's winning those entries, when he's winning those aggression picks, yeah, they're absolutely frying. When he's not, he's first picked.
Good you know what? Good question, Red. And we were gonna talk about that as a part of the league later. This is a single elimination bracket for the the playoffs. This is an elimination game. The winner of this game goes on to face the winner of Karn & Co. in Team Sesh. That's going to be taking place later this week, I believe. We saw Cards, you were casting the Hakiki Mori game, so that one happened up at the top of the bracket. The winner of Turtle Tactics versus Earth. We've got this one is the Liquipedia we can throw up as well in the chat. But yeah, elimination game because it's a single elite elim bracket.
Yep, do or die. Go big or take the proverbial bus ride home. Nugs on the Boss G is going to find one, continuing to his reign of terror as the one that needs to be put down. Goes for a drone hole shot, can't quite find it. Knows that the pressure is still theirs. They have to push him. They have to dislodge him to get in and bypass some of this vertical play. Mingo goes down as the shotgun rings out. Pitbull able to find one now, and it puts us into a 4v2. A very familiar situation for this night. Lou, though, he's going to start the comeback. Finds one, looking towards that vertical. Can't quite find it just yet, but now he's made his way into sight. They do have the diffuser in hand. Franklin has, of course, been a goat at making sure the plant gets down, and that's exactly what he's going to be doing right here. Flashes ring out, but he's got to get off because now they're starting to make the push. They're looking for that vertical. No, Solus is gone, so they won't be able to see it when the plant goes down, but they've got the cutoff angles set and solid. Gave away his position. They now know that he's onto the corner. They're going to take a quick swing there. Franklin is
there. It is
Nugs off the board now into a 1v2 situation. 13 seconds left. They don't have to push, but they might. Right? To get a little confidence, start swinging it. The vertical's here. He's going to get the plant, and it's going to go ahead and get dropped. He's in a post-plant scenario. Now he needs to shoot, pivot, shoot to bring this one back. Franklin's able to find one. Looking for more. Can't find it with the shotgun, and he's not going to get it done. It was a close attempt, but it is going to take the half to a 5-1 in favor of PACKRUNNERS. Sheesh.
Franklin is the guy. He gets the plant down again and tries to solo clean up this round and almost gets there. He runs out of bullets in the end and has to face a shotgun point blank and loses that battle on what I'm guessing is an empty magazine. That was a very tough battle for him, and honestly, pretty happy with the way he played that one out. And just legendary KOST from an objective-based gameplay perspective. But again, struggling with the rest of the team. These guys aren't popping off in the same way we've seen them do before, and they are up against a team that is doing the reverse. I mean, 9-2 after finishing a 24 game previously. So sitting at what, 34 kills already between 2 maps. And then, I thought we might see one of these other guys pick it up, but Nugs has slowly crept up that board as well, going 6-4-4. Pippo picked up, what was that, a 3K in the previous round? PACKRUNNERS, when they get hot, some of those individual heroics carrying this team, and we said, feels like they have just got BLACKJACK's number in this battle today.
Scheduled timeout. Swap, switching gears. Gotta get your mental locked in. What does the comms become, right? You know some of the issues that you're having. It's just small mistakes, a little bit of an overextension here, a little bit of an isolation here. PACKRUNNERS has just been really good at taking those mistakes and absolutely capitalizing on Consulate. Now you go on to your defensive side, right? And we talked about this on map number 1, how it is a very aggressive defense. And how sometimes that can be the game changer. They need a couple rounds. They just need a couple rounds to remember that they can do this. PACKRUNNERS, they're going to try to shut that down. They want this one over and done in 2 and moving on for sure.
Over and done in 2. I mean, trying to close out your Monday night with a bang. It's not 4th of July. It's Memorial Day. PACKRUNNERS still trying to pull it off anyway, my friend. 5-1. What a game. You know what? It almost feels like Lair comes out and was just heartbreaking loss for this team. It's like the vibes had to be high with taking it all the way to double OT. And then to lose it in that heartbreaking fashion, it doesn't feel like we're seeing that same team here, right? And I know, Reg, you mentioned it with Jay being that opening pick, for sure playing overly aggressive. Chaka talked about it in the same way. When you play super aggressive, high risk, high reward, like you said, G.
Okay, you get into the bans. And what are we thinking? PACKRUNNERS, they're wanting speed, my friend. And so what's one of the ways that you deal with that? You get rid of the area denials. Goyo and Tachanka off the board, which means they're going to have to lean in to those yokais. They're going to have to lean in to the smoke canisters, which can be tough. Although we did, like you talked about earlier, Franklin was a goated Echo player in thwarting some of those plants during the element qual. So can it be done? Absolutely. Is it a statement piece? For sure. BLACKJACK has got to know that it is going to be aggressive. It's going to be in your face. And for sure, Nugs is going to be on a shield.
You know what? I almost thought that they were going to troll you for a second, so we'll see. Back on to the Blackbeard this time. So even though Monty and Nugs was so good as a part of that layer attack that the PACKRUNNERS put together, BLACKJACK, I think, feels like they can work around the shield, and they don't want to have to deal with some of the cheese ops that can be much more difficult to deal with. The glass, no one likes getting peeked through the smoke across the map, and there's quite a few places you can see that kind of happening, especially from some of the window repels here on Consulate. So, and then the Grim, I mean, again, gives them flexibility to move about this map, and that's really what it feels like they need, flexibility right now. Taking those ones and losing a few of them is not working out. So PACKRUNNERS, you continue to force the 1v1 gunfights, win 1 or 2 of them early on, and then let the mental game ride out to win the rest of the round.
Snake's gonna get the call. You heard the sound. Someone's close. Blackbeard's got maybe an idea of where it's at. They're gonna get the drone off the board and try to get themselves in. A C4 is primed, prepped, and ready to send it should he get that repel call. Could be a huge early pick to start that comeback for BLACKJACK here. A nice 2-pick potential. They're going to get the drones in, though, right? They're going to take a look. They're going to make sure that they're not going to be walking into a trap. And does get sussed out in there, even though he's going to keep holding. It's 2, 1 above and 1 below. So they're making sure that you can't get to that invisible wall very easily.
Oh, That was huge. That's exactly what this team needed. Take down Nugs, take down the shield. Now you've still got a pair of F2s and a DMR in the hands of the Pack Runners squad on the attack here, but that was the boost that they needed. The opening pick, you take down the shield and sort of can lock in at this point. So everybody upstairs on the 2F, no one downstairs to put any pressure anywhere else on this team. And it right now feels like that's the way Pack Runners wants to try and run it as well. Direct upstairs. 2 people still outside the building with a minute. We're going to be about minute 10 here at the end.
Still plenty of time. You're down in the deficit as the second C4 will go out, and that will claim part of your util to get inside and make the plant. Feels pretty good for Blackjack if all they got to do is hold on here. They've got the full numbers. Now back into sight. Hold your zones. You might find yourself getting a little bit closer into this score line. Snake, he's going to get some intel. They find him. Call goes out. Now they can make that pinch together. Zaprone waiting for the go call. It is going to be high to find it. As they suss it out, double F2. J-Gun's finally able to respond. J-Gun's now good for 2. As it puts it all onto the shoulders of Sog. Sog finds J-Guns. Does put us into a 1v3. It feels like we're starting to seal this one up, but he's got a little bit of an angle. What a pixel peak perfection shot. As now he gets put into a 1v2. 16 seconds. Warden has been sussed out. If he wins this fight into a 1v1, this could be huge. Makes his way around, but now he's got the debuff, and with 7 seconds, no chance to get the diffuser and maybe get in for a cheeky little plant. He's gonna have to take one into the one shot here. Almost brought it all the way back run.
Honestly, again, closer than I expected. We see Blackjack finally pick up the win. They hadn't won a round since back on round 3. That was a huge momentum shift for this team. That's both of the maps in a row where we saw the Pack Runners take the entire second quarter, 3 rounds in a row, second quarter on a Blackjack attack. This time, though, they're able to shut it down, win on that first defense upstairs. That's the first time we've seen them win a second floor defense on either map at this point, and that feels to me very good. That's a little bit of the boost that they needed. So if you're a Pack Runners fan, you're like, don't let this team get any momentum. Start to shut it down now. Nugs is going to switch on to that Monty potentially, but the big difference there for me was double C4 pickups for the Blackjack defense squad, and that's exactly what they needed. C4s, man, just can be serious momentum killers.
Absolutely. So defense going to take a couple players down to the first floor and really play into that lurk role. And honestly, look at this. Mingo all the way, or is going to be one of the only ones in the basement trying to hold it down. They didn't bring any area denial. So a couple of Banshees to slow it down, some cams to make sure that your shots are ready. But honestly, not much to say, hey, Pack Runners, just come on in.
See the Scopos there from Boots this time around. There it is. They're going to get the intel and then switch off of that position immediately. Again, almost inviting this team to take advantage of it, but good read in and making the switch up. So now can move and hide that idle shell, reposition. That's what they needed to do at this point. Pitbull took a significant amount of damage, 50% gone already, but needs to keep the Lion alive to, again, give a little bit of intel on where the defenders are playing. But if you're going to go admin overtake, I think you got some pretty good idea about where this team is. They're playing upstairs again. We expect the Blackjack defense to be very vertically focused.
Dokkaebi calls out. Flashes onto the Scopos as they're going to swing in and try to put some pressure onto them. They did make it inside of the building. Able to get out of there. That's one shell gone. So they're going to have to rotate down to that basement. Looking for one more. He runs. Why are you running? Oh, man. Got him. Man, if you're taking sight, or if you're taking the top, you got to be guns up. You know the pressure was there. Dokkaebi gets taken down, and that's man advantage over to Blackjack.
Yeah, huge play, heads up play there from Lou to just lock in and take advantage of a mistake again by your opponent. Here they've got another spot, know where he's at. This time approached it much more slowly, and he's going to retreat all the way back down to the basement. The shield battle, though, here on the first floor, though, is where Nugs wins that in Tellers, and J Guns goes down. Yeah, not going to say it. So what else do we need to do from this team? Okay, lock in. Everyone is in the basement. No one upstairs on either the first or second floor at this point. So they can still at least put a little bit of ghost pressure and cause the pack runner attack to have to waste a little bit more time. That could give them that advantage. But Nugs on the Monty has made this push down, solidly taking space over on the secret server side of the map.
Himself a little bit better of a position now. Time's starting to become the enemy for the attack team. Kai again, gonna find Franklin. That's gonna give a man advantage over to Pack Runners. Answered back as a Boss G is there to say hello and also goodbye.
God.
A quick shot as High is able to find another 12-3, but he gets devastated. Oh man, into a 1v1, but a shield bash will do it. It just was a flurry of kills as they went into that last few seconds, and it was gonna be Nugs on the shield again. I mean, he's got Kino-like qualities in the way that he can take space. His aim is on point with the pistol, and he is just unafraid to take the battle. Huge shield play leads to a win and leads now to a match point scenario.
That was tragic. To see a triple, well, at least a double kill at the end, a double shield bash, rather than trying to back off the engagement. You're in a 2v1 essentially with a Monty. That is absolutely a winnable situation for the defense, and just let Nugs get away with it. For sure, that's not what they were expecting. I think the mental is just starting to be a little bit of a problem at this point, but because obviously Nugs, great shield player, but just taking advantage of the team's mistakes as well. That was the piece that they were missing, and Nugs was ready for it. If you're going to just double up and allow for a double shield bash and not spread out, you know what? That's what happens. That's just a good job from the Pack Runners and Nugs specifically at taking advantage of a mental mistake from BLACKJACK. So don't expect that across the board. Don't expect that in the games going forward, but take advantage of it when you can.
Defense has to be perfect for 4 now. The site of battle down to the basement, and it looks like Pack Runners is just running it back. Same ops, same strat. Sussing out any people that are going to be up here on the first and second floor, and it's a big investment this time. Franklin's going to stay downstairs into the garage as a zombie, give himself a little bit of that trench warfare. C4 this time not going to connect, as Monty beautifully baits that out. Now they know they've got somebody on the first floor that they can start to put the pinch maneuver on.
It was Mingo trying to pull off the same lobby play that we saw from the Pack Runners in the first half of this map. He's unsuccessful at it, though, as you said. It baits out the C4, so it was a great play again by the Monty and Nugs. So we're on match point scenario. If we can survive one more round, if BLACKJACK can survive one more round, really feels like we might see the Monty band come out. But High still sitting at 12-4-1. Right, he's sitting at, what is this, is 42 kills at this point, to be able to make this play in 2 maps and running the DMR. So even if you take this away, I thought Nugs should have gone for the kill there. Get a mistake by him, but pushes him in to his teammate, absolutely baited, and Boots goes down for it. That was. He could have got the kill upstairs, obviously, by himself as he was trying to clear out the Dokkaebi call. But you know what? Might as well feed him into your teammate to pad the KD.
Yeah, not just pad the KD, but it's good team play, right? Anybody can win a 2v1. A 1v1 is difficult. So bait him into it, push him, wait for the homie, and then, yeah, perfect play. Nugs does go down. So they're going to take it into a 4-3 situation as the final minute starts to count down, and time will start to become the pressure situation here for PACKRUNNERS, but they've got quite a few rounds to play with. Now made their way down spiral. Is going to be dealt with.
There it is.
The triple kill. On pace for the ace now as he's looking for some pressure onto spiral, but it gets answered back. Pitbull's able to take him. 3-2 with 38 seconds. One more kill for onto the defense could spell disaster. Smoke's there. They've got a potential isolation. Instead, they're going to be backed into the corner and take the scenic route all the way around. J Guns is able to take one off the board, and now it's all going to put it onto Pitbull's shoulders here with 19 seconds left. So,
do not throw bodies at this!
What's that?
I said, do not throw bodies at this, my friends.
So in a perfect for 4 scenario, he's going to get a bit of a faux timeout. Give him a second to talk about it.
Yeah, you look at the blue outlines, man. It looked like they wanted to. I know we talked about it earlier. This is a very aggressive team. They like to over-aggress, chow, if you will. But you know what? Hang back and wait. And now they get the opportunity to go into the ban phase and decide who do they want to take off the board here. I feel like they've been struggling with the Dokkaebi. They've been struggling with the Lion, for sure with the Monty at this point. So you've got a couple different options to try and take away asset-wise from this PACKRUNNER attack. But you know what? Right at the end, it was a great... The combination of a Dokkaebi call, Lion Pings going out at the end, forced them into, right, revealing the positions, just annoying, taking away the sound cues intel, and then, you know, and also taking away the cams right at the end. That Dokkaebi was well timed at the end, resulted in a kill on the Scopos earlier in the round, impact controversy aside, and then takes away the cams right at the end. So they were very close to winning that. PACKRUNNERS, again, just doing a good job of taking advantage of those situations. BLACKJACK, though, I mean, showed that they absolutely can win these rounds. They can come back. J-Gun's got a huge pick with the Boss G there at the end of that thing to try and keep them in it. And then trigger discipline, player discipline, lock in and don't fight it.
It's a good call, Patch. It's an interesting take. It could be a tired factor, right? I mean, we spent 12 hours in the last 2 days playing Siege, trying to qualify for your spot into the T2. And hey, yo, John T with the 5 gifted. My guy, my legend. Thank you so much for that. Hey, just to let you know, chat, every sub, every bit, every piece of ad revenue is in line with the goal of getting the Whiskey Boys to Japan for the next major. We had so much fun at Utah that we definitely are trying to get us there. And this is our way to do it. So every little bit of support, we just appreciate the heck out of you. Hey, yo, Cavalito with another 5 to match. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Absolutely huge. And that puts us 10 subs closer to getting the Whiskey Boys to Japan. We appreciate your guys' help.
All right, my friend. Wild play so far from both of these teams, and BLACKJACK needs to be perfect for 3. They needed to be perfect for 4, and they pulled it off with a solid basement defense. Now the spot where they have struggled on both maps so far, the second floor. They have really just found a difficulty in general at trying to play around not having a little bit of vertical control or a little bit more spread out space in which to engage the PACKRUNNERS in either 2v1 or 1v1 scenario. So some of those they're losing, obviously. I think part of the reason they're losing this map, but it gives them more options overall. So this was huge, though, as Nugs finally goes down. Mingo looking for a little bit of revenge.
Oh, and he finds it with a 2-piece, close to getting himself onto that double-digit kill level, and they found a couple in succession, and all of a sudden, BLACKJACK on defense, starting to mount another comeback run on a match point scenario where you have to be perfect. Shots are hitting. Mingo on the triple is almost going to single-handedly bring his team back into this and run. 6-4, we are again within striking distance of overtime.
There's a reason that Mingo has been in the Pro League conversation, thousands of viewers, and part of the stack for a very long time. He is that good, and it's great for him to being able to see that in a variety of places. But I know it's a huge switch between having this team that did so well in Element in an incredible lower bracket run. And I have to check the stats on. I think they had the longest lower bracket run because no pressure came down and lost significantly later in the bracket. So this was the team that had the win or go home mentality the longest of anybody that made it through. So these guys didn't lose right at the end and then win one to make it in. No, they were lower bracket from like round 2. So this is wild for them to maybe get into this position, but it also says to me that they play better under pressure. That's where we're going here, is that locked in. Right now they are 1 round away from closing out this best of 3, having PACKRUNNERS win in a 2-0 fashion. It's an elimination series, so all they need to do is be perfect for 2 and send it to Clubhouse, which is their map.
Okay. When you put it like that, definitely feels like it's all on the line here. Not going to be Nugs onto the shield this time. Nugs opting for the Flores, some Rotero action. Get rid of some of that extension util that they've got onto the first floor, and I think we're looking at those Fenrirs and those Thorn Traps specifically, maybe forcing some movement onto Mira. I like that we got not just traps on the board, but the Fenrir, right? The not being able to see when you walk in, getting that sound cue that somebody's there and unable to swing you has proved to be devastating. We'll see if they've got what it takes here as this discovery phase starts to wear out.
Solid Snake is going to be giving away all this intel downstairs in the basement, making sure none of the defenders are down there, and they're not. They're upstairs on the 2nd floor playing the vertical down. So he's got a little bit of an opportunity maybe here in a flank to try and catch Franklin. This is completely on the other side of the map. We're going to expect way more action upstairs on the admin side as we're looking for right now to repel in. But Solid can be downstairs just feeding information to his team upstairs about the position of the players on the 1st floor. The reverse pulse, if you will. So he is a dangerous player they're going to have to watch out for. But Nugs this time off the shield and a little bit of a change up in roles. Now going to leave it up to Oya as the guy to play the shield role. And I don't know whether or not this is a good call or not because he's been so good on the shields recently.
They've made their way in. Look to see if they can catch somebody. They got a C4 pinged out, so they know exactly where it is. Not going to try to fall prey to that this time. That was a big, decisive double or 2 C4 kills that they got onto the last one. They've got several to do it with. One's already off the board, but they've got 2 more to play around with here. So still a danger zone within the last 60 seconds here. Drones are out. Nobody's taken any damage. No fights have happened yet, which means this kill feed is going to be explosive as we get into the final 30. Blackbeard has made his way up. J Guns is able to take Nugs off the board. Flores down. Man advantage back into the hands of the defense. Now they just have to play onto the trade game. Grenade's going to force some movement. He's not going to get off of it just yet, and he does. Back to the mirror. He's allowed to be safe. Lou is going to find that first.
Yes!
Lou's going to find a second. Now putting pressure onto the Blackbeard as he gets out of sight, and he is a low health scenario. Thorn Gadget is going to do a little bit of damage. Lou, again, triple kill. Now onto the... okay.
Oh
Break out
my
the
God.
barbecue sauce for that 4-piece. Lou's just going to go absolutely crazy. He was the hero of one of the last rounds, right? He was the one that almost, between him and Mingo, almost single-handedly won them that game. And now, both of them starting to activate. And now, Run, we are 1 away again from tying this back up.
Jeez, my heart is beating out of my chest right now. Lou Letters, what an unbelievable run at the start of this. 14-7. Mingo just behind him, 10-8. Those 2 guys have been carrying the top of this roster. Sog really is the guy over on the PACKRUNNERS side who has stepped up in a huge way. High's been right there at 13-7, but man, what a wild win. You said it, 4-piece at the end there, and you take a look at just the second quarter on. Is mirror image in the way that these guys play, right? We talked about it. Blackjack seems to activate when the pressure is on, When they are in must-win scenarios, that is when they are the most dangerous. And they have been there since back on round 8. They've been 1 round away from going home for the last 3 rounds, and they have won 3 in a row solidly. And they're taking advantage of mistakes made by the pack runner, and right now just winning some of those gunfights. Again, it's not feeling like we're seeing this super structured siege where we're seeing crazy good executes from the pack runner side. We're seeing if they can win some of those early picks and then play off the trade game. That was how the pack runners seem to be winning some of these rounds. So if Blackjack can reverse that process, get a couple of their early ones, then they can just ride that out as well. So it's sort of been the same style of play from both of these teams, and that makes it very, very momentum focused, very momentum based.
I mean, we can definitely highlight that Blackjack, again, in the deficit on the defense with a mental chalk going, has brought it back again. Right? Growth on this team as far as mental fortitude is at an all-time high, especially being able to bring it back. Now, I don't know what the comms are. You guys are going to have to fill us in on that one, because they're always interesting. They're always fun. Even when they're winning, they're still wild, for sure. But at least at this point in the gameplay part of things, they have locked in. Franklin, we talked about him being onto the Echo, being that force of area denial. He's going to go ahead and choose to take up the mantle again this time, down into the basement. So life preserving going to be absolutely necessary to stop some of that plant going on. I'm curious. Well, Nug's back on the shield. No surprises there. Didn't like the way that the homie had handled it, so he's going to go ahead and bring that thing back out. This time he's going to do it with a blitz. Quick, in your face. They're going to get some drones done first.
I think it's a mistake. That's not the play to bring out on this one. The blitz has not worked well against this team. I think they've been significantly more successful playing the bigger shield as the opposition. But then to have Saul go down, to lose the solid snake, the extra intel, that is the big win here for this team. Look at this, man. Just as I call him out. Okay, Jay Guns is able to answer back. They lose boots, though, in the process. And a little bit of crazy play here to start this thing off. The Shoddy's going wild. Who's going to win this battle? Man, he's running Sledge Shoddy.
Yeah, bold.
On tech.
Hey, it's just an absolute bold play. Jay Guns goes down as the Reaper's able to find one. They do answer back as Mingo takes Sledge down. Unafraid of that Glock with his witch. Does put us into a 3-2. Defense in a good position to tie this back up and force that overtime play. Got plenty on the board as far as C4s and impacts to still do some significant damage, do some significant stall game. And as the pinks go out, they're going to start putting some pressure on here vertically. Everybody from the defense moved back down into the basement now.
They have to. You got Franklin on the Echo, perfectly positioned here, now waiting. Can they try and clear out this Cade Claw? How much time is going to get wasted? You're going to give away the knowledge that he's upstairs. Pippo is holding onto that vertical side, opening up this main breach. Trying to work around this is going to waste an incredible amount of time. They're still going to have to try and get that wall open and then convert that into a plant. He hears the Echo drone moving around upstairs and just ready for this. It is going to be a late round plant denial, and Franklin is well positioned for this because they are going to run out of time if they're just going for kills.
21, it's open, just sort of baiting the breach. Flashes start to ring out. Grenade's going to force the movement, and Lion Pink's going to suss them out. They now know where a couple of them are. Down into a prone position, he's going to get dealt with. Pitbull Dundada, it's all going to be up to the kill leader high, and he's not going to be able to do it. Finds one, but not enough to get the job done. Run. Yeah, go ahead and say it, man.
No, that's Tim's line, brother. 6-6 again. Overtime again between these two teams. Blackjack on the ropes, absolutely freaking activated. They go 5-1 defense at 4 in a row as well. All on the last 4 rounds on match point, and the pack runners have I want to say, almost feels like we've seen them fall apart a little bit. And I don't know who said it in the chat, not typing anymore. We said don't get cocky against this team. The problem is, Blackjack is just as capable of making those same mistakes again, and PACKRUNNERS have been very good at taking advantage of those situations, locking in and punishing them for mistakes as well. Jay feels like he's gotten activated in a way we haven't seen previously. 9-10-2. Still not positive, but certainly a significantly better game than we saw out of him previously. So, if you're a PACKRUNNER fan, you're looking for these guys to lock in here. On the second floor, haven't seen a win yet. The spot where PACKRUNNERS had success was a basement bomb site, which for sure is why we're seeing Blackjack defense start upstairs.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did, John T. You called it. The Lou absolute glow up here, 15-8, has definitely become the factor here onto this on this Blackjack team. And if he can stay active, yeah, they might find themselves looking at a map 3 here. Did switch it up for the top floors. Nugs is going to go back onto the Floras, back onto the Roteros, and Solus is getting a ton of info right now. A ton of value out of where exactly everybody's pushing. Nobody down on the first floor means they're going to take hold up inside of the Visa or admin.
That's a good question. Why is he off the shield? It feels like ever since that Monty got banned, I mean, it was talking about back on round 9, he has really not been able to get anything done. Really has not had that same level of success that we had seen previously. So it's a second floor play, and right now PACKRUNNERS, interestingly, not approaching Visa very hard, or admin very hard. They've sort of stayed off that side of it. You're going to see the Flores drone in, going to clear out that barbed wire, but holding on to some of these first floor positions rather than being very focused on a horizontal overtake. That could work, but I am definitely worried for this team. That's typically the strategy that seems like it works better on a second floor attack.
Last time they came up here was the C4s that were the big devastator, right? The entry and the secondary pick, both coming off the back of destroying the shield on some C4 play. They've only got one in play this time, and he's up onto the second floor. So not going to have that same sort of impact. So they're going to have to get it done a little bit differently. Lots of intel going out. Drones for days. We got a good drone economy here. So trying to take the swing onto the Solus, but not going to present itself, and really just doing a wonderful job at slowing everything down. We got less than 60 now to get this one done, and defense is getting more momentum as it goes on.
Look at this. The trip connector is still blocking all of this entry off. The Solid Snake is there, going to try and crawl under the trip connector wires. If he honestly makes it through this, I am going to be shocked. We see the diffuser go in at the top of Spiral, out of Spiral. 35 seconds left. What is going on here from this attack side? He does manage to crawl under the trip connectors right into the waiting arms of J-Guns.
Yeah, huge plays. Now they got that man advantage and the intel is gone. Blackbeard has made his way up, but a smoke canister is going to slow him down. They do find one. Lou goes down after taking the frag leader high off the board, so it does put us into a 4-3. But again, defense feeling pretty solid. It's 12 seconds left, and you have just got to play off to the trade game. Blackbeard gets dealt with. Franklin's able to find one. Now puts us into a 1v3 scenario. Damos to find one. Now into 2. Again, though, time going to be the factor. Time going to wear down, and Blackjack is going to find the first overtime round.
Brother, that is 5 rounds in a row for this Blackjack team. Do not let them get hot. They have dominated when they moved into that position. 7-6 now. You know what? The problem is, and I hate to even bring it up, but this is where we were one map ago. Blackjack picks up that round 3 first overtime, and then we saw the PACKRUNNERS take down rounds 14 and 15. The difference is that it was not an elimination must-win scenario, which is where Blackjack seems to absolutely thrive. These guys are like hardened by the extra pressure that comes onto them during these elimination scenarios, and they pulled it off all the entire bracket and element. Lower bracket run, single elimination for them since they started in the lower after round 2. This is a team that thrives in that high pressure environment.
This is W7M versus FaZe. You know what? Honestly, right? Feels like it. It feels like the story says that it is all on the line, that it's not just prize pool, it's not just moving on in the playoffs, but there's actual incentive just to beat the other team. It's just gone back and forth, and honestly can't call. Blackjack's up here. They've got to do it on attack now. It's just been a little bit of a struggle, right? Their defense has been hard. It's been solid. They've been finding the success, but getting it done on attack has proved to be a little bit tough. So they switch it up. They do bring out Boots onto the gridlock, and that's going to at least stop some of those lurk plays that have been so devastating. But and they do have one. Sogs downstairs in Tellers playing for that C4 when they try to finally get in towards that admin side. And Nugs downstairs. So double duty on the lurk game, if they're not sussed out, could be the play. We'll find out if it works out.
This is clear. When Nugs didn't have the Monty available, he's completely fallen apart. It's been a completely different game before and after that third ban came in at the middle of after the third quarter there. That was certainly a difference maker, but like we said, it feels like certainly this team has just come together in a way that we didn't expect. And would love to hear some of the team comms. If you've been on Mingo's channel listening to it, give us a little bit of insight here at this point, because I gotta believe the vibes are high coming into this. Oh man, High is gonna sort of hide the trip connectors there for a second by stepping into the wire, maybe try and bait J Guns into giving away a little bit of that intel. And what we talked about, Nugs on the lurk coming up those spiral stairs, but sounds like they may have also identified that he's in that spot. Just trying to pick up and pad this KD a little bit, but take a look at all of the gridlocks that are blocking his path.
Boots is going to find the first. Does make the trade onto J Guns. In fact, they're going to be rewarded with 2 for their troubles, as High's off the board and Sog's off the board. Both of the, well, I mean, I was going to say the frag leaders, but of course Nugs has picked up one to take him to that 11 spot. J Guns is down, but potentially recoverable. They're going to find another kill onto Fenrir and run. We're seeing that it's almost all but guaranteed to head to Clubhouse here, as there's just over 60, and it's a 5v2 now that they've gotten J Guns back up. Blackjack woke up. A little bit of pressure, has seen some diamonds form. Pitbull is able to take Lou off the board, and J Guns dies to a
No
thorn
way.
set. Now the plant's starting to go down, and he's going to be maybe in a position to go ahead and stop this. The crossfire set. Looking for some wall bangs here, but it's not going to be enough to get it done. Boots is going to find Pitbull. That's going to be map number 2. Run. All 3 required for the Pack Runner playoffs.
It was a heartbreaking loss on map 1, 8-7 loss for Blackjack, but a hard-fought victory the second time around as they pull off an 8-6 play, close to a 20 bomb for Lou. So close, my friend, but huge win, huge victory there for this team. The Pack Runners, man, just sort of fell apart at the end of that. Had such a good lead. We're talking 6-2 back on round 8. To go down 8-6 with an unbelievable run from Blackjack at the end. And now they have got a big problem on their hands. You are taking a console stack to Clubhouse on a roll with a huge amount of momentum coming into this. Pack Runners, take the time during this quick map break to really lock yourselves in and figure out how to strat yourselves out of Clubhouse, because it is going to be a brawl for it all.
Man, I think I figured it out, Run. They're streamers, right? Most of this Blackjack stack, streamers, very successful at it. They did it for the stream. They like going down. They like the pressure situation coming back up. And so they just wanted a little bit more excitement for the stream. That's got to be it. We're headed to map 3. It's Clubhouse. It is a console heyday map. They're really good at it. They're really practiced at it. They've played it more times than Oregon, my friend. So, yeah, Pack Runners got a maybe potentially a little bit of an uphill battle here as we go on to map 3. We're going to get that lobby set up, get the players in. You know the deal, you know the drill. Sit back and relax, because when we come back, it's the stunning conclusion and the third map. Ayo.
Let's go.
Alright, tech geek, time to face the dread. Got the drop on you already in your head. You think you're untouchable, queen of the firewall. Crack your defenses, watch your empire fall. Whispers in the dark, that's my domain. While you're clicking round, I'm bringing the pain. Silent steps, jungle cat, hunting my prey. You just a screen flicker fading away. Please, a relic of the past, tribal and old. Your stealth is a joke, a story to be told. I control the net, every camera, every phone. While you're creeping slow, I'm already known. I flip the script, make your team dance for me. A digital puppet show for all to see. You hide in shadows, scared of the light, while I rewrite the code day and night. Cold monkey, thinking you run the show. I'll unplug your world, watch your ego go. Hand-to-hand combat, where's your skill then? Hiding behind screens again and again. Rogue warrior, that's the life I lead. You just a keyboard warrior, planting digital seed. Track you down through the back door, see. Your little games don't work on me. Games? Honey, this ain't child's play, this is war. Information is power, that's what I'm here for. You stalk in silence, but I shatter your stealth. With a single hack, I control your health. Got drones on standby, pinpointing your location while you're lost in the dark. Facing elimination, future is digital, you just can't compete. Outdated tech, admit defeat. Future, please, the future needs teeth. Raw instinct can't be beat underneath your fancy gadgets. When the power goes down, you're just a pretty face wearing.
Listen up, it's your boy the Big T, about to drop some truth on this sparky fleet. Bandit, you a joke, a dollar store MacGyver, taping batteries, real innovative, I admire. That struggle, son, break your name, the problem, more like a hobby. 6-inch, hold straight to your lobby, think you stopping me? Hey, octhermy, always with the big booms, think you're hot stuff, just cause it sonic booms. My batteries, they sing, shock you senseless. Little boom, boom, man, quite defenseless. My traps are art, you're just a big dumb target, easy pick. I'm making entry, that's my guarantee. While you hiding corners, scared of me, burning through your tricks. Watch the sweat, remember my name, don't forget. Forget your name, please, I can't erase the image of you. Failing disgrace, your big wall gone, fizzled and weak. My electrifying power peak, try to compete. Cute, little explosions. Explosions cute, wait till I'm done. You be screaming louder than a punk. I bring the heat, you bring the tingle while you playing games. I make the building mingle with the sky, my guy. Think about that. It's Friday night, the game's burning bright, screens glowing hot in that late night light. Two voices cut through the smoke and the noise, calling every clutch, raising hell with the boys. They ain't talking whiskey, they ain't talking beer, they're pouring siege plays right in your ear. Every round's a story, every play's a fight. I'm hanging.
That is the greatest moment in my life, bro.
So pour me another siege double shot, strong like a breach when the wall gets popped. Running through the maps, give me all you got. Raise up your glass, let the highlight drop. From bronze to champ, we'll take the shot. Yeah, pour me another siege double shot. From outback bars to them clubhouse nights, bank vault dreams and consulate fights. They paint the chaos with every call, turning broken drones into legends tall. I ain't sipping bourbon, I ain't sipping rye. I'm drunk on the casting and I'll tell you why. When they shout the fuse down, I swear I can fly. Echoes of victory light up the sky. So pour me another siege double shot, strong like a breach when the wall gets popped. Running through the maps, give me all you got. Raise up your glass, let the highlight drop. From bronze to champ, we'll take the shot. Yeah, pour me another siege double shot.
What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're back. It required all three to get it done in the PACKRUNNERS playoffs. It is the streamers versus the experienced comp stack taking each other on right now. And man, you couldn't ask for anything better than this.
That's right, my friend. And guess what? It is map 3. Time for Clubhouse. This one is one we've been waiting for. Ever since we saw the map pool pop up, my friend, we knew that this was going to be a difficult one for the PACKRUNNERS squad. If they couldn't get it done in 2, what were they gonna do? So it comes down to it. Appreciate everybody that's been here throughout the entire game so far. It has been a good one. We got a chance to cast a tremendous amount of the Element series over the weekend. Shout out Ferme and the rest of the crew that put that event on. The NA Open Cup is going to be fantastic, and we're glad that Ubisoft is investing some time, money, and opportunity into the T2 scene here for Rainbow Six Siege. And now we get to see one of those Element qualifying teams in battle for its life. It was a best of 3. It's down to a best of 1. BLACKJACK, can you come out on top over top of the PACKRUNNERS in their own league? Are they going to be eliminated, my friend?
I don't know.
Defenders
It's a good
protect your bombs
question.
from being defused by attackers.
And one I can't actually answer at the moment. Like, I genuinely cannot call it. That makes for some of the best games. It's T3, but man, it is a brawl for it all. It is a fight. There is passion. It's just what we love to see. Just want to take a quick second while they're getting set up here to say thank you so much for the follows. We hit 8,700 follows on our Twitch account. We're just so grateful for the love and the support, for allowing us to bring just, as many games as we can to you. We appreciate you guys being here. Absolutely huge on the quest for 10,000. Thank you for the subs and the follows. Every sub, every bit is going to get the Whiskey Boys to Japan for the next major. We want to be there. We want to showcase it to you guys from our point of view, and we just appreciate all of your support for the gifts and the subs tonight. It just means the world to us. It's map 3 run. It's Clubhouse. If you watched any of the Prime Roller series ever, you know that this was their map. They went here more than they went to Oregon, and they were good at it. 2 kills already out the gate. Nugs and High taken off the board. One not as important as the other. You lost the Kiba barriers. That's a tough one.
Well, and High is really big. He's been the top frag on both of the maps so far. He had an incredible 24 bomb on map 1 if you missed it. And they were so close to turning that into a win. But a little bit of a throw at the end of this. Lou Letter's going to take down Saga as well, leaving Pitbull and Oya in a 2v5. We knew this one was going to be difficult. We said it. And you take a look at the bans that they had across the board. Right? We didn't get a chance to talk about that an awful lot, but with the hard breach denial bans in play, it's going to mean that BLACKJACK can open things up very easily across the board. And then on the PACKRUNNERS side, well, number one, they're going to lose round 1 in a hail of bullets as the attackers firmly gain control of the basement bomb site. But, right, they wanted to try and not have to worry about the shields here and then the solid snake, all of that extra intel. And really, it felt to me like on the attack, PACKRUNNERS did a better job of utilizing solid snake than BLACKJACK did. But on a map that they know so well, and all that extra intel about where the defenders are playing and looking, I think is going to give them a solid advantage. The problem is now you still have to deal with Twitch. Mingo, I think, has played Twitch every single attacking round he's had the opportunity. So good on that op. It almost feels like it needs to be part of any team that's playing BLACKJACK. It needs to be part of their ban strategies, making sure they manage Mingo on that op. But the rest of the guys can just, step up whenever they need to. PACKRUNNERS have got their work cut out for them here. On the defense, what do they change? One of the things I love here, Pitbull, bringing out the Frost. Going to try a little bit of traps to catch this team off guard.
I like it. They're going to have some aggression. And what do we mean by aggression? Exactly what you saw in the first. Lou just running in, dropping down oil pit, and finding a kill near the generator. Right? And they're going to continue to do that on Clubhouse. This is the map that they feel the most comfortable on. At least from what we've watched in their past. So I like it. They went to the gym bedroom side, not back to it. Went to the gym bedroom side this time, opting for the top floor. And you're going to see pretty spread out, and it's fairly standard, right? You're making sure that you're holding on to the catch CCTV side of things for as long as you can. Attackers, again, also leaning into the very similar strat of open everything, right? The big idea here is that you're going to condense the defense closer and closer together and then rely on your cuts. Get them as they're getting back to sight. So, huge. We'll see if they're able to pull it off here for sure.
The fight over on the warehouse side, you had Frost playing behind the deployable, but that now is cleared off. So they've pushed the defense completely out of the Cache CC side of the map. They've got the main breach. They've got warehouse. A lot of the hard work is done in trying to clear off that initial first part of the map. So they need to make the transition over. Oh, I didn't notice that. We still had Ella playing top red. Not fully in control yet. C4 is going to come out and claim J Guns and no, add another one to his initial death counter. Tragic there was the C4 from down below that manages to take him off the board. Sog ready for it with that Tuberau. So now all they got to do, finally cleared off the stairs. Now they've got complete control and ready. They've opened up also some of the walls over on the Jacuzzi breach, so they have pressure on this pack runner defense from a variety of angles. Now it's time with a minute 20 left, plenty of time to get an execute in play.
Slowing things down here. This defense doing a great job of just holding the line. Nug's going to stay up onto the construction door and really just try to thwart the entire effort. And they've got it pinched here pretty solid. Warden is, glasses go down, and that's a call you can hear. So now a flash could be potentially huge. So they're starting to slow things down. Still have a C4. Oh, no, all C4s have been done and dusted. So really just relying on the gunplay here. Able to get back towards site run. It is just completely slowed down for this attack side.
Yeah, they've really faltered in the mid-round here at this point. Felt like they should have taken a little bit harder of an approach at this point. That's where they were being successful. But right now, they've got control over on the Logis. Never mind. I thought they had control on Logi, but I was ready for it. It takes down Franklin, but they came back, and now in a 2v3 with the final 14 seconds left. No! He on ADS is at the wrong time!
And siege timing playing out here. 8 seconds. They're going to take Frost down as the pistol pop rings out. Mingo goes down as well. Now into a takes a swing, and Lou's going to lose his life on that one. We can tie it up here.
Yeah, what a wild end to that, especially after what we saw to start this thing out. I know J Guns was the first pick off that C4, but they looked like they had plenty of control across the map, completely covered the Cache CC side, had all the walls open on Jacuzzi, had control of Logi, and then no highway presence allowed the defense to just put a little bit of pressure back into Logi when they were unable to make the transition out, and then close it out on a trade game. Again, if the pack runners can isolate and Blackjack and get into those 1v1s and get in their head, that was where they were being successful. Blackjack had an opportunity there and kind of let it slip through their fingers. So now, again, we've said this several times, but they really struggle on attack on those second floor sites. It just really hasn't been where they've been great. So now we see PACKRUNNERS go back down to the basement and give that vertical all back to Blackjack to work with. And that's where we see them be very successful. So we'll see if that holds true now as we enter round 3, the end of the first quarter.
Okay. I'm going to switch it up. They're going to take it back down. Like that we're seeing the clash on the board. A little bit of area denial. Last time we saw them running this sort of strat, it meant that they had a huge investment into the vertical. And we were talking 3 and 4 players up onto the first floor, leaving 1 down. Looks like we're almost seeing something similar. They're still setting up a little bit down below, but most of that presence up onto the first floor. They're getting everything set up. Look at this, blocking things down too. Clash, Tuberau, and Goyle Tuberau all made it up onto the first floor to play spoiler here.
PACKRUNNERS is, again, they're identifying and reacting to the way that Blackjack has played, not just Clubhouse, but all of the maps in general, having that very extended roam presence upstairs, and taking the ones is where they find that they can win some of those battles. And all they need to do is catch 1 or 2 is all that they need. The Clash is locked. Nugs heavy in battle there between the Ram, and unfortunately pushes too far down the stairs. right into High's waiting sight. So that was an unfortunate way to play this, but look at this. Boots answers back, pushing down that same set of stairs, sort of even up the odds here. J-Guns, again, unfortunately the first one to go down, just overextended that position. He had put a ton of heat onto Clash. There was no reason to try and go for that kill. Waited for the rest of the team to catch up. Boots was right there. Managed to pick up a kill coming down that same set of stairs. So we know we said it. Don't over-aggress, but that's in his nature. We're going to expect him to pull that play.
Reminded of the scorpion and the frog here, Run, as it's in his nature to over-aggress for sure. And it's high risk, high reward. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes, yeah, he's first picked. So they're going to take time, slow it down just a little bit, get some drones in and try to suss out these last players. The clash is going to feel huge here, right? Because that's going to put a disruption into the fundamentals of Clubhouse, right? Getting, making into your hatch drops or coming down those stairs. One of those areas going to be prevented if he's still alive. He's not going to be, however, as I'm going to cast a curse him off the board. Nugs goes down, but the answer happens back. Mingo able to take Sog down. Man advantage maintained and then equalized now as the air jab goes off and forces him back, but maybe into a little bit of safety. They've made their way in. Thorn Gadget's going to go down. A quick swing.
No way.
It's going to be good for both of them.
What a flick. Right place, right time, as now he managed to pick up a triple on that round. PACKRUNNERS completely... Oh, God, don't start talking again, Sog. That was what got you into trouble in the first place. Focus on the game. Focus up, my friends. If they can keep the mental high, that's where they win these battles. Crazy way to start this thing off, though. Again, a little overextension from Jay sort of started the cascade that saw the Blackjack team fall apart. Expected them to do a little bit better this time around, but yeah, just unfortunate to see that thing sort of fall apart. So now upstairs, Cash CC, they don't have to run, or they can't run the gym bedroom side anymore. Can't run basement, as now they've found success on both of those. So it'll be the tertiary site, and now they're gonna have to get it done without the mirror and without the thermite. And Mingo went ahead and ruined my perfect stat of playing Twitch every single offensive round until he played IQ. And I don't want to... Well, you know what? I'm going to say it feels like that could have been a reason here. So I love to see him back on the Twitch. Again, if you're a Blackjack fan, that's where Mingo has had incredible success.
It's especially on Clubhouse. Like, this is his map where he goes crazy with Twitch. They've even gone so far as to leave the mirrors up. Now, they didn't do it this time, but they have in the past because they're unworried or not worried about it. Now, against a little bit more experience of comp team, sure, it can start to become a problem, so they get it banned out. Double area denial for the defense. We're seeing the Yokais back on the board, and we loved the Echo plays earlier, but hard to recreate. Got to be alive for that one.
To me, it's actually a little bit interesting that the PACKRUNNERS go ahead and ban the thermite, and really, Blackjack has not run the thermite at almost any rounds we've seen so far. Franklin seems much more comfortable on the ace or the Hibana, both from a hard support status, and these guys are perfectly happy running the can openers as well, bringing along 4 of them between Boots and Jay. So a couple of DMRs in hand as well. They're going to make the push down, use the nade to clear out that thorn trap, well positioned to not be able to clear it. And it's not worth maybe running Mingo's Twitch drone to try and clear out that piece so far off the main site. Got a lot of intel on who's playing over here on the bedroom side. Hoping to try and catch Oya off guard, and this one right now feels like a great opportunity. Again, trying to take a 1. It's Jay. The initial push in solo through the bedroom side. No backup, my friend. Please.
Look at this. Yeah, he spots a gap and he's quick to push it, and he has been rewarded with it before. He's made a silent here, but he gets sussed out. Now it's a shotgun in hand, and he's going to have to retreat a little bit, or he's going to potential to face some devastation. He's going to try to get some intel as he sends it over the top of the single wall into construction, and environmental ingredient off the board. I don't know that it actually made it through there. 2 coming onto the garage, the swing out ready. Aruni gets sussed out though on the cam. She's going to go for a swing, and she's going to...
You got to be kidding me.
There's no way! You knew it was coming! Lou's able to find one. J-Guns answers back, so they do grab the man advantage back, and they do it in a big way as the F2 is saying hello. Sog goes down. Looking for more. Lou's going to get devastated. Now into a 2-2 as Pitbull's able to take one off the board as well. So now, plenty of time for a plant. They do have the yokai, so of course that'll be the potential for the devastation here, but the one to set and one to cross could be tough. Runs the jump out. Flashes go off. He gets inside. They make a quick swing. Rewarded. J-Guns is going to find it. Now into a 1v1. No yokais to do it, and the plan is starting to go down. Looking for the comms. They can hear it in the default, but he's going to hit the wrong spot because it's not on the default. Exactly. He pulls off to the side of it, and it saves his life. Frank now down to a very low HP scenario, but it's a post plant, and you got to retake vert.
We've seen Pitbull pull this off before, but no.
Okay.
Jay, what are you doing?
He knew his homie had it. He was buying all in on the Franklin stock.
The Echo giving away the intel. You saw the pings come out, and just over aggression is literally J-Gun's middle name, if it was 2 words. Incredible play from him, and you know what? He's lucky that you had Franklin backing him up at that point to close out a round. Again, he was unbelievable objective-based gameplay, getting another plant down. Over the course of this best of 3, he has had a tremendous number of those. I'd love to go back and count up the total number at this point, because one of the higher T3, T2 kind of a games we've seen so far in terms of the number of plants. That's really one of Franklin's solid strengths. So there you go. He catches up on one, and I would really love to tell Jay the same. Like, keep the chatter down, my friend. Lock in. High can devastate you, right? He's already at 7-3. The rest of the team's not carrying the same level that we've seen from them, and the problem is High can absolutely get it done. We've seen some of these guys just go crazy. You pull off a 4K, a 3K at a random time for Pitbull or for Sog. So don't let them take advantage of mistakes made. You have to stay locked in throughout this, and this really goes for both of the teams, because there really is feel like a feast or famine momentum style gameplay from both of these teams.
Definitely seeing the pace of the round dictated early, right? Either attackers are taking ground very fast or defenders are burning time for that win. But it's really in that mid-round where we're seeing where Clubhouse really opens up, right? Once the walls are breached, everything starts to become about positioning and trades. Hey, there's some aggression that pays off, right? We say even a broken clock is right twice. Well, for sure, J-Guns is going to find some spawn peaks at some point. Finds the opener. That feels like a good one. Or I guess it's not really a spawn peak. I guess it's just an aggressive entry take.
Well, I mean, it could have been. We didn't see where Nugs was. Was he going for a spawn peak there that was just answered back by J-Guns being better at the angle? So you still got to watch out for High. He's the guy. They're holding on to the second floor gym bedroom side again, where we expected Blackjack to be a little bit better, but they lost that previous round when we saw this back on round 2. After over-aggressing the situation and giving up some of that space, a couple early picks. So now they're ahead. All they need to do is hold on to this trade game piece, and look at this. Finds one, goes for maybe a late round C4. The C4 is still on the ceiling. Valk's still alive, trying to hit one. There it is. Intel, man, she is just on the run right now.
Yeah, it's crazy that she survived it, right? So now still has that C4 to be an impact, or at least clear comms, my friend. So there it is, positioned towards that highway window, and they're going to wait for him, and this could be absolutely devastating. Oh, C4 goes out, but they're able to get out of the way. Utility clearing, non-negotiable on Clubhouses. It's part of those fundamentals, and so you knew it was going to be coming there, couldn't quite act on it. Flashes and Grimbees go out. So we're looking at that final 64. Defense really just trying to create that equalization so they can start to get onto that trade game. Do find one. There it is. Now into a 3-3 scenario, but he's locked in Logi. No way to rotate out. Flashes go in. It's going to put some pressure towards the window, but he's there with a shotgun. Unafraid. Prone position. They're going to take a double swing. Boots is able to find it onto the triple kill now, and it's going to be up to Sog to bring this one back. Did get the down onto Lou. Plant starting to go down as Franklin is, of course, going to continue his role. Sees him over
the shoulder!
It's a close plant scenario. The miss is tough off the equipment. Flashes ring out, and it is a tough spot for Sog now to try to bring this one back. No rotate on Gold, so he's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, through the doorway. It's a double swing incoming if he's able to put some pressure on it, and he just can't yet. And there it is. Franklin's able to clean that one up. Get themselves in a plan. Man, we got to take a look. How many times has Franklin planted tonight, right? We know he loves a little bit of objective-based protect the president play, but man has just been absolutely unwavering in his ability to get the plant down.
That was what the turning point for that round was the C4 on the window, right? Going for the C4 to open the castle barricade rather than waiting for it to go, for the barricade to go down and then tossing the C4 out the open window. I think the difference was between 0 and a double kill there. If that C4 had made it out the window, right in between the two guys standing out on a highway, we're seeing a PACKRUNNERS defensive win at that point, because it would have been a significant man down scenario. Loss of all of the highway control at that point that was putting the cross pressure on the guy playing in the bathroom. That was it, the turning point there. It fell apart after that, and it's just a split-second timing that made the difference. Yeah, you lost Valk in the C4 downstairs early on the first floor. You could work around that piece, but to miss out on that was just a tragic piece of siege timing. And you know what? I don't know that anyone here is underrating Franklin. Man, absolutely deserves the shot at it because of how good he is. And getting a chance to meet him, talk to him as a part of the team that made it all the way to the Spoit Invitational in Toronto. Guy's a legend. Appreciate everyone there that we got a chance to talk to and support throughout that entire T2 process. So now as we get into it, though, yeah, we're coming down to the very end. Best of 3 between these two teams. BLACKJACK PACKRUNNERS. 3 already on the attack. You call Clubhouse defensive, attacker-sided, whatever. 3 already is a huge way to start this thing. Now, of course, to have Boots go down, that's tough, and Nugs has completely fallen off. What a wild change that he's had personally in this game, going from one of the top frags on map 1 to sitting at 0-6. If you're a PACKRUNNERS fan, you're looking for Nugs to get activated right now.
Absolutely. Can't buy a kill within the first 6 rounds. Feels like a tough situation, especially because, yeah, there's chirping, they're talking, it's all chat, and that can all start to affect the mental for sure. Twitch Drone does get in and start getting rid of some of that extension util downstairs. Jay Guns is able to find Sog off the board. They claim a man advantage, quickly equalized as the double now rings out. Looking towards generators, they've got the pings, they've got the intel. Defense is trying to lock down this generator area, but they've made some solid movement and took some space inside of sight.
Oh, huge play there from Lou. The problem is you still have got high left. Never mind. Mingo answered, picked up the one that he needed, leaving Pitbull in a 3v1. He's got 3 kills to his name on round 6 so far. He's going to have to double his kill count to survive this round. And if you had to put money on Franklin getting the diffuser down, well, you're going to win nearly every single round.
Mingo's there to clean it on up. BLACKJACK's going to find themselves another round win, and maybe a little momentum starting to get built up here. 4-2 is where we end up seeing the half go. A standard split, but it takes it on the attacker side of things. And now, now we're on to the defense. Now here's where I start to sweat a little bit if I'm a PACKRUNNERS fan. Right? Because this is their playground. The Clubhouse being completely a map about fundamentals. BLACKJACK have done nothing but that for like the last, 2 years. Maybe not all together, but the core stack, right? Mingo, Lou, Jay, Franklin, they've all been doing this for a really long time on Clubhouse. So it's going to have to see some adaptation out of PACKRUNNERS, and I think it starts with Nugs getting activated.
Yeah, 100%. I was just looking back at some of the stats we've had, right? Just in the last, we'll call it 14 rounds between the last map and this map, the second half and the first half plus 2 overtime rounds, 14 rounds. Blackjack has won 12 of those at that point. That is some clear domination in the second half of this. They may have lost that first map by 8-7, but really they have been incredible for the last 2 halves of Siege. And the PACKRUNNERS really have struggled at this point. So it feels like it's one of the keys to really making that transition out of T3, T4 into T2 is mental fortitude to continue even when you're down. And it seems like they have found some of that secret. So PACKRUNNERS for sure need to lock in. It is absolutely winnable for them. They're only down 2 on this map. But you take a look at a larger picture, step back for a second. Blackjack has won a lot of rounds just in the last 2 halves of Siege.
All right. The op swap. We're switching gears as now it's time to see what each team is bringing to the opposite side. PACKRUNNERS onto the attack. Oh, man. Yeah, coordination. That's going to be the big thing. John T. said it. Composure is going to be a big part of that. Keeping your head, knowing you can do it, and then not making the big mistakes. J Guns, it feels like he's got a little bit of a point to prove. So if the spawn peaks are going to be active, when the spawn peaks are activated, this is going to be the first contest every time. It's his job to make sure that you stay as far away from the building as possible. At least that's been the role that he's taken over the last couple of series that we watched him play. So a little lackluster performance in that area. We'll see if he picks it up here on Clubhouse. If you're a PACKRUNNERS fan, send him vigilance. They've got to be watching, because if he's allowed to get a couple of those spawn peaks out, then it is going to provide a ton of ghost pressure all around the rest of the building, because you're having to check every door, every single window, maybe a punch hole, that is going to try to keep you out of there. I think WinCon for these two teams, is Jay activating on his aggression and hitting the shot, and Nugs going to be that big part of it. And you can already see he's not going to be bringing the shield out. Monty banned.
Yeah, targeted absolutely against this team. When they had Monty, we said it back on the second half of Consulate. When they had Monty, they made progress. When they didn't, they completely lost out. The second half of that was insane. How many more rounds they lost after losing access to the Monty. So Blackjack didn't make that ban during the first half, right? Or during the first map. On Lair, their second or their last defensive ban was the Echo. They went Cade, Bandit, and then Echo, which was an annoying op to deal with for sure. But it felt like it was part of that recency bias. So, and then when they went onto the attack side of it, they go Grimglass Snakes. So they didn't ban any shields at that point. And I think that was a big part of the reason why PACKRUNNERS was able to build up some lead and then not let it go. They took a different strategy on Consulate and did ban the Monty, and that was the difference maker. So whether or not that one op, and Nug specifically, is the turning point or the hinge point for PACKRUNNERS, it doesn't feel like that's enough by itself, but certainly in isolation it looks like it's a significant enough factor to cause them some chaos. So here we go on to the start of the second half of the third map.
All right, here's going to separate the boys from the men, Whiskey. They've got some cheese on the board for the attack. Nugs did end up picking back up the shield, bringing out the Candelas and the Grim as well. Grim allowed to make it through the ban phase. We haven't seen a Grim-free ban phase in quite a few series, including the last couple of days on Element. So we'll see how that's going to potentially start to affect it. Blackbeard's already got one spotted out. They're looking for some isolation here. Shots in from Logi as well, as they've kind of got a pinch maneuver. Looking for the help. He's going to get into a prone position, and they've got him kind of sussed out. Grenade's now going to force some movement back, and the defense is going to be losing a little bit of space. They get together on to Logi as the Candelas start to ring out. Prone position is going to miss it from the backside. They're not going to hit the right Candelas, and then it's a move from the attack. They're going straight down into sight.
That's a crazy switch up, right? Heavy con presence as they're trying to at least put some pressure here on this defense, and then they completely back off the engagement and triple drop sight all at the same time. They've left Franklin in basically a 1v3 as they're trying to hunt down Sight. Way too much upstairs pressure. Franklin at least is able to catch one and slow this thing down. High trying to go for this defuse, but look at this. Lou is there ready for it. He's going to kill the planter, though, just as he loses his life.
Man, I honestly love the redirect here out of PACKRUNNERS, right? They saw whoever the IGL makes the call, hey, one in sight, let's just flood, try to catch him off guard, and they almost got the plant down, but a good push back down those secret stairs was able to thwart the attempt, and now Blackjack finds themselves one away from that match point scenario completely activated on Clubhouse.
I'm going to give the same advice. Don't start gapping in the all chat, brother. It's time to lock in. Okay, gym bedroom. You know what? That was a great one, right? The battle upstairs in between the construction and the bedroom door. The PACKRUNNERS attack identified they had at least 2 of the Blackjack defenders upstairs on the 2nd floor. They had the Ella as well, so they know they're going to have a difficult time trying to make the push in with the shield, not knowing whether or not she had a Grismont mine in pocket. All right, that's deadly for the Blackbeard if he was going to try and make that direct by himself. So read into it. You know you've got at least 2. That means at max you've got 3 down in sight. Drop the hatch, be faster about it, use the shield to try and clear out that space, and go for the plant. And it worked nearly perfectly, with the exception of the planter left essentially his back foot exposed around the corner of that very small piece of the rack. So worked really well for them. And all right, J-Gun's having a little bit of trouble getting the trip connectors down, but all over the place. They're using the drone hole as a place to work through. That is kind of crazy. W strat.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. They lost the round for want of a few inches to the left, my friend. A post plant could have seen a whole different scenario there because they get the swing, they get the cross kill. Alas, they didn't. Gonna have to try to get it done now, and they're bringing a similar lineup, still bringing a bunch of cheese to the table. Grim Ying, Deimos on board. And this time switching the shield roll up again. Not quite confident that the Blackbeard is Nugs' best op, right? He's definitely a Monty main, and you can tell the difference when Monty is not allowed. Shots go down. Sock's going to find the trade with Lou. J-Guns to answer back, and that's the shield done and dusted. Spearhead's gone. J-Gun's now good for 2 as he puts himself onto the 8-5. They did get the down onto the Azami, and J-Gun's life is forfeit. I don't think they're going to be able to get him back up either. Does put us into a 2v1 scenario, still full smoke canisters and the C4. They did get Mingo back up, so now really just a 3-1, and he saw it. A hint. He knows he's there. Not going to be able to do much about it without exposing himself to some danger. Pitbull's able to find Franklin off the board now into a 2v1. Going to rest on the shoulders of the Tubarão and the Mingo, and they're going to start getting back to sight. Diffuser is all the way in cache CCTV, so some time wasted to be getting there unless he just goes direct, and it's going to take a couple of gunfights. If they're far enough apart, it could work. We've seen Pitbull in this situation before.
Minute left on this one, and yeah, I mean, Pitbull has won these battles before, but again, it doesn't feel like they've got that same momentum, that they've got that same like mentals at this point. The vibes were high when he pulled off some of those magic rounds at the end of it, and again, they've got the opportunity there to just wait it out, and that's what they do. Don't throw bodies at the situation. You know, it was a good play over on the side of all of this started with a great cash CC hold to top red, Jay picking up a double, a little bit of a split push coming in there trying to catch him off guard, but he reads into it. Blackjack was just looking better. They're playing super aggressively. That doesn't feel like that is the way you're going to win rounds against teams that are pro-prepped when they get into the thick of the element season, but certainly you can win some rounds against a team that feels like they are just tired, worn out on a Monday night, and the pack runners are starting to be the pack walkers at this point.
Oh, youch. And it's facts, a perfect for 4 scenario. Now, we watched Blackjack do this exact thing. right? They had to be perfect for 4. They came back, reverse sweep, found the map win, took us to 3, carried that momentum forward, and now are trying to dare Pack Runners to do the very same. Timeout for Pack Runners. They're going to take a second to talk about it. Obviously, I was going to say this is an important round, but it is the round, right? You lose or you go home. They're going to take it to cash CCTV for the defense, and already you can see they're pulling in some stall game. Smokes on the board. Castle's looking for that potential extension either downstairs to swamp area, maybe some of that sight over from Jim bedroom play. Either way, with both of the architects on board, Azami and Castle, the site will be redefined in how you can get in there.
Many bombs as they can.
Specifically that rafters area. So I'm thinking he's probably, with the Azami on board, probably going to extend down. Would be my guess.
Yeah, and he should. Right, they've already picked up wins on the basement. They've already picked up wins on the gym bedroom side. It is all down to Cash CC, the tertiary site, but even that doesn't feel like it's going to be a place where we're going to see Blackjack falter. The Pack Runners have had a fantastic game overall, this best of 3. At 8-7, though, was really peak siege for this team, and since then, that 1v1 showdown we saw, which easily could have gone either way, seems to have crystallized and just brought this Blackjack team together. They got close, super close, in a 6-2 scenario in the middle of that consulate map, and since then, they have been nearly unstoppable. They've won 12 rounds in a row, or 12 rounds total, with Pack Runners only picking up 4, right? A significantly better performance out of this team just in the last 2 halves of Siege. So, and you know what? And if High wasn't on this team also, I think this would have been over in 2. So if he's the new pickup, W pickup there for the Pack Runners.
All right. Double spawn peak. Both Mingo and Jay Guns putting some pressure outside of the building. No breach now, so they're going to get the wall opened up. Jay Guns is going to find the first. 9-6 he now sits. The stock's starting to rise here on map number 3. Since Gadget goes out, they make a push in, and they're just absolutely dealt with. Lose there. Match point scenario. Smokes are going out. Fire's going out. Now into a 4v1. It's up to 0-8 Nugs to bring this one back. He's got to be perfect for 4 when he hasn't found 1 yet. A moment for legends, but the moment will be denied. Lou will take it. And a piece of pro league advice here, my friends. Do not take Blackjack to Clubhouse. It's their map. They own Clubhouse. Also, maybe I might take them to Night Haven. I know we have a couple of throwers for that one. I don't know. They're looking unstoppable. Great in the element quals, right? They've done the job there. They continued that momentum. They had to brawl for it. They found themselves a win here in Pack Runners playoffs, and they're going to go ahead and move on, sending the home team on the proverbial bus ride to the aforementioned home.
That's right. Single Elim is done, my friends. Blackjack moves on in the Pack Runners League. They continued to pad that stat sheet that they racked up during the element quals all weekend long. Big shout out to this team to, you know what, keep the mentals high, for Mad Dog for keeping them in this thing all the way to the end. And you know what, some incredible stats overall. Fantastic plays. I mean, we got to go back and count the number of times Franklin planted in this game because it is insanely high. But you know what? The Pack Runners had a good game to start it off. You got some up-and-coming stars, but Blackjack right now is just playing better Siege. As long as they can keep that in check, they're going to be a very difficult team to beat going into the Element Swiss stage. So looking forward to that. We've got a whole nother Element qualifier coming up next weekend, and we know this team is going to be watching and waiting at who their opponents are as one of the 4 teams to make it into the league, qualifying there as a part of the Open 1. But man, we appreciate everybody that stopped by the entire night. Y'all are legends for being a part of the community. We love getting a chance to bring all these games to you here. Happy Memorial Day for everybody that celebrates, and what a great night overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for the follows, taking us up to 8,700 follows for our Twitch channel. The support is absolutely unreal. We got a couple of cool things that will be coming up here in the next few weeks. As you know, we did go to Utah. We've got a signed Siege Double Shot shirt that has got all of your favorite players, all of your favorite talent that came together to sign a shirt for us to give away to you guys as a thank you to the community. We also have an SLC code that we're hanging on to, something special. So make sure you hit the Twitter. Make sure you got the noties on, because we will be bringing some more cool giveaways to say thank you for your guys' support in helping us grow and become such a fun place in Siege. So make sure you got the noties on, okay? Because we're going to be doing some fun ones. All the subs, all the bits, we thank you so much for those tonight. They're all going to help us get to Japan for the next major, where we can help showcase your talents there as well, my friends. We just thank you so much. It's been unreal. But for us tonight, alas, we have come to the dreaded part of the evening where we must bid you adieu. So as the lights start to dim and the jukebox starts to sing closing time, as always, my friends, you don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here.
Ayo!
Let's go.